6 o'clock news, I'm Mel Usher.
Hydrotherapy at Physio Extra Marion has individual sessions and classes claimable on private health and NDIS.
30 years. Now and Then is also being billed as the band's last ever single. It was released just before midnight our time and is already #1 on streaming services worldwide. It's a John Lennon demo from the 70s featuring Paul and Ringo with guitar by the late George Harrison.
And if I make it through, it's all because of you.
Overwhelming reaction so far from fans is a big thumbs up. Well, public school teachers are set to walk off the job next Thursday during Year 12 exams, but David Bruce says negotiations over their pay stoush are continuing.
The Teachers' Union says its members have voted in favour of an all-day strike on Thursday, giving the state government until Monday to come up with a reasonable offer on pay and conditions. The government recently made an offer of an extra 3% per year for the next 3 years, as well as other sweeteners. But teachers don't think that's good enough. The union is pushing for between 5.5% and 8.6% per year until 2026, as well as time off for lesson planning and administration. If the strike does go ahead, schools may have to shut for the day or operate with limited programs. The union's executive will meet to discuss any government offer on Monday.
A house fire at North Adelaide is under investigation. Crystal Mitchell from the MFS says the alarm was raised on Francis Street West just after 7:30 last night.
The fire started in the kitchen and the cause is being investigated. Damage is estimated at $150,000.
The occupant evacuated safely. Work is continuing to secure the safe exit of at least 65 Australians still stranded in Gaza. Michael Packy reports.
The Albanese government says it's relieved 20 citizens have been able to make their way over the border from Gaza to Egypt. They were joined by 2 family members of the group and a permanent Australian resident. Mona is among those fortunate enough to escape the conflict zone, but has told Sky News she's leaving family behind.
The situation is terrible there. It's very, very bad.
Another 65 Australians registered with Foreign Affairs remain stranded in the Palestinian territory. Foreign Minister Penny Wong says everything possible is being done to get them out.
It's taken a broad international effort to get border crossing open.
Australia has echoed the US sentiment that Israel pause its military operation in Gaza over humanitarian concerns.
Senior politicians from around the world have agreed on the importance of containing risks from rapid advances in artificial intelligence. The first ever AI Safety Summit is being held in the UK. Deputy Prime Minister Richard Marles is representing Australia. He says AI has the capability to improve the lives of many, but warns it should be approached with caution.
Making sure that there is safety built into the way in which those technologies operate is profoundly important, and given the complexity of artificial intelligence, it's really important that that's done at an early stage.
Now to 5AA Sport.
There's plenty of stock ready for immediate delivery on Mitsubishi Triton from Agostino Mitsubishi, Nailsworth and Elizabeth.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Mel. Port Adelaide has confirmed discussions are on with the AFL to try to work out a way to get a reserve side into a national competition. The Maggies are currently contracted to stay with the SANFL until 2028, but Port's head of footy, Chris Davies, has told Rowie and Timmy G it needs to consider a competition where all reserves teams are playing in the same comp.
But right now this is a challenge to the AFL to say how can you look at all of the equalisation measures that you've got in your competition but not be thinking about what happens with regard to the second tier.
Meantime, Erin Phillips will train for the final time today as Port Adelaide prepares for its final match of the season tomorrow against GWS. Well, one game in the World Cup overnight, and again it was India showing it's a force, maintaining its unbeaten run with a 302-run annihilation over Sri Lanka. Half-centuries to Virat Kohli, Shubman Gill and Shreyas Iyer setting up the result. Australia will play against England tomorrow night. To tennis, Alex de Minaur is through to the quarter-finals of the Paris Masters without having to hit a ball. Yannick Sinner retiring due to some soreness in the lead-up to that match. And the World Series has been decided, the Texas Rangers taking out the title for the very first time. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now the 5AA forecast, partly cloudy today, 23. The weekend, sunny tomorrow, 23. Sunday, sunny, 25. And then up to 27 on Monday. Right now, it's 13 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Get the LTV Deliver 9, the best-selling large van in Australia, from just $43,990 drive away for ABN holders. Test drive one at a dealer today. LTV, bring it on. Based on VFAX, year to date 2023. T's and C's at ldvautomotive.com.au.
At Coles, there's great value hands down across fruit and veg this week. Like sweet 100% Aussie raspberries, just $5 for a 125-gram punnet. Get great value hands down at Coles. Offer ends Tuesday.
Everyone loves their local. So, what are the best pubs in SA? The winners of the AHA SA Awards for Excellence have been announced. Best meeting and events venues are EOS by Sky City, Adelaide Oval and Marion Hotel. Best redeveloped hotels Metro are Kent Town Hotel and the Clovey. Best Bistro Inner Metro, Bar Presentation and Service Metro, and Best Overall Hotel Metro goes to the Cremorne Hotel. For a full list of the winners, go to the AHA SA website, ahasa.asn.au.
IKEA is here to help turn your dream home into your real home. Discover new lower prices on over 1,000 of our favourite items, from beds to sofas and everything in between, like sofa beds. Make it happen today with IKEA.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Know someone finishing school and looking for an apprenticeship or a traineeship? Visit maxima.com.au.
7 after 6, good morning to you. Welcome to Friday on 5AA Breakfast. Jam-packed program this morning. Meat Tray Friday, of course. We'll get to that in just a moment. We've got a terrific meat tray thanks to the excellent team at Thomas Farms, Nord Mall, The Parade, or at their stores at Castle Plaza, Colonnades, Cavern or Westlakes. We'll be talking about the Christmas pageant for the meat tray this morning. We're going to be talking about the Beatles' new song before 7 o'clock. We're going to do something that almost never happens on 5AA, certainly not on 5AA Breakfast. We're going to play a song in its entirety. But I think if ever you're going to do it, it was when the Beatles release a new song, brand new material.
I don't think we've ever done that.
I don't think we've ever done it. We will do it before 7 because we want to ask people whether they like it or not, basically, whether it's a hit or a miss. We'll do that just before 7 o'clock this morning. The Police Commissioner, Grant Stevens, will be on the program after 7:30. Eddie McGuire is going to be on the show too to talk about the Melbourne Cup next week. Feedback Friday being a Friday morning as well. David, good morning to you.
Good morning, listeners. Good morning, Will. I had no idea we were going to be playing the Beatles song in full.
Oh, yeah.
It's quite a momentous event.
It is a momentous event in the history of music, isn't it?
How easy would it be working at FM radio? You just come in, you tell a few half-assed anecdotes and, have a few zany giggles and then you play songs all morning. Why don't they even get paid? I'd do that job for free. That's pretty much what I do in my spare time. I walk around the house, kids, my wife, their eyes glazing over. I tell some rambling anecdote, then I put on 4 songs.
Yeah, but your anecdotes are true. I think the agonising part of that experience would be embellishing pretty mundane things that have happened in your life.
Or worse, being given scripts by the producers to tell stories that clearly been fabricated.
Clearly never happened.
Yeah, things that, the funniest thing happened to me at the shopping centre the other day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the weirdest thing a store clerk has ever said to you?
Now, that's today's mystery sound. Call it now. I'm going back to sleep.
Yeah.
Maybe this is like a turning point for our show.
That actually was pretty good, I reckon.
I might send that to Triple M or, throw my hat in the ring.
I think it's a matter of time.
You'd die of boredom, though, wouldn't you?
You'd be poached by 8:30 this morning.
With the teeny boppers.
Nova, because that's what the kids are talking about.
Yeah.
TikTok.
LOL.
Oh, there's a bit of that. No, I think LOL might be dated now.
FOMO.
There's all other stuff out there. I don't know what
Seriously,
it is.
the new
I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Don't ask me. I think LOL is dated.
We'd have to start Instagram account.
At least you just sent please stop. That's good producing right there.
We are talking about our colleagues, really, aren't we, here? But they don't listen to our show, so who cares? We should send them the tape. They wouldn't know what to do with the tape, would they?
No. Tape deck? Cassette? What type of tape are we talking about?
Like a TDK?
Studio 8? What do they call it?
C90?
A C90.
Were you two, you would have tapes, wouldn't you?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, we not only did we have tapes, we were the rare and weird family that had a beta machine.
Well, wasn't beta the superior format?
Don't worry, my father said that to everyone who would and wouldn't listen. Beta's
Yeah.
better, superior quality.
Yeah.
Superior than VHS. It was always,
Yeah.
I would always occasionally make the mistake as a kid, or go around a friend's place, or they'd come around to my place and say, "Oh, you've got that movie that we like," or whatever, and they'd always have it on VHS, and you get that. That was a devastating moment where the VHS didn't fit in the Beta machine. That killed a lot of sleepovers.
Yeah, I lived in a share house and we had a Beta video player.
Yeah,
and it was around the time that Beta was being phased out. So a lot of the video stores, they had this arrangement whereby you could buy Beta tapes to keep for their rental price. So if it was a $5 new release overnight, you'd pay $5 for it and you get to keep it. But if it was like one of the, $1 a week ones, like an old movie, you could buy a Beta video. So me and my mate Paul, we went to this video store down at Mitcham, massive video store, that was getting rid of hundreds of Beta tapes. And we bought about 80 films. And we had this awesome library of Beta videotapes. Don't know whatever happened to them. But they were built to last.
absolutely. They were great.
Didn't the TV stations use Beta over VHS?
They did, or did they use those smaller ones? I just can't think of what they called. Super 8s? I can't think what they were called.
Super 8 was like that was the film in the 60s, 50s and 60s, little handheld cameras.
The problem with it all was it all degraded over time. So
yeah. I know, it's like whenever you watch the Crows premierships.
They fade and
they're all crackly.
colour and wouldn't be so great.
When Smarty kicks that goal and is it Cometti says on McAvaney, it's all about celebrating now.
Yeah, great moment.
Yeah.
We had we would tape things off TV and Dad would things that we would be interested in. So I always had Return of the Jedi. The first ever time it was played on television in Australia, we had a videotape of it.
I thought you were talking about Duran Duran's Girls on Film video there, Will.
No, not talking about that. My sister had a lot of tape play school episodes. So she, growing up for her entire life, as a little kid, would sing Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, but halfway through would go, Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, how... And Mum and Dad always just said, What are you doing that for? They eventually realised in that taping that she used to always religiously watch of Play School, John had a cough halfway through Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. So as a little kid, she just continually...
That is excellent.
Factored into. She thought it was just part of the song. Hey, we're talking about performing this morning for the Christmas pageant, the meat tray, thanks to the excellent Thomas Farms. Meat tray for someone who's been in the Christmas pageant. Who's been in the Christmas pageant most? What have you appeared in it? Maybe you only did it once. What role did you play? If you've been in the Christmas pageant, we have a meat tray for you this morning. It all obviously takes place tomorrow. So we're talking pageant for the meat tray. 8223 meat tray for Christmas pageant participants. Maybe of tomorrow, maybe of yesteryear. Julie in North Adelaide has called in. Morning to you, Julie.
Oh, good morning. I have not been in the Christmas pageant. I'm sorry about that. I rang before that
That's
question.
okay. No, that's right, Julie.
No, I said to Lucy, I was sitting here listening to you. Sorry, I'm laughing. And you both then just sounded like you're on FM radio.
See, we're versatile, Julie. We can do
You know
anything.
what I mean? Like, you really had it going on. Like, remember Beta tape?
Well, don't worry, Julie. We're not putting in for a transfer.
No.
No, thank God for that.
We'd need to change our names too. We'd need to run with the nicknames.
You'd be Dazza or something.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
okay.
it'd be Pembo, and you'd be the Goodness. Pembo and the Goodness.
Oh, that could work.
The Zany Breakfast Crew.
Yeah.
Pembo and the Goodness.
Murray Bridge might be looking for a new show. Thank you, Julie. 8223 You can text us on the Duttons text line as well. We do have a text early about the AU strikes, and don't worry, we will be talking about that at length. The Education Minister, Blair Boyle, will be on the program after 7 o'clock today. Simon in Seaford's written a fairly lengthy Duttons text. He says, although AU members have voted to take strike action for a second time, it is my understanding that the vote to strike has reduced considerably between the first strike and now. Working in a school myself, I can confirm more teachers are questioning the union leadership, and teachers themselves have concerns about taking strike action during exams. 13 years of teachers' work has gone into these students, and to leave them high and dry at the summit of their schooling journey is against everything we work for. If teachers want to take home more pay, I can think of a way they can earn an increase that is equal to the amount they pay in union fees.
We are going to have plenty to say throughout the show this morning about the tactics of the AEU. Also, I have some really interesting background about the extent to which the leadership of this union clearly, demonstrably, has absolutely no interest in improving the quality of education for children and young people in South Australia. They're a pack of vandals, and the government is not going to budge an inch. I know that for a fact. The government is not going to budge an inch in terms of meeting their absurd demand. How can you look every nurse in South Australia, the people who were genuinely on the front line during COVID, who've just been given a 3% pay rise, and then turn around and give the union an 8.4% pay rise as they're demanding? If they had their way, they would bankrupt the state. But worse, the impact of some of their policy demands on the quality of children's education, and it goes beyond face-to-face teaching time. They think they're in charge of policy. What they are, they're running a protection racket for malingerers, a protection racket for crap teachers at the expense of the good ones, and they deserve to be exposed for that.
Yeah, we will at 7 o'clock talk about some of the behind the scenes, what's actually been going on in the negotiations between the AEU and the state government. Mike and Rilla has called in for Meet Tray Friday. Mike, who have you been in the Christmas pageant?
I've been in the Christmas pageant for at least the last 15 years. I've been on the Christmas wrapping float, the one with the skateboarders in the back.
Oh, really?
And the cage, yeah.
So do you have to do all the sort of hip-hop moves, Mike, as part of that?
No, that's sort of for the guys up the front and the DJ up the front. It's actually one of the loudest floats there.
Yeah.
So absolutely boom. And, and then you've got the skateboarders in the back. It's actually pretty freaky when it turns around the corners, and the stopping quite often sort of screws you up a bit too.
Do you have to dress up, Mike? What's your costume?
It's just a white T-shirt and a helmet and just dress nicely sort of thing, you know?
Yeah, right. How'd you get involved in it in the first place?
So I was sponsored by the clinic, and I was doing skateboarding coaching through those guys.
Yeah,
and
right.
Then when it was, who was it originally that was doing it, the pageant?
John Martins?
Yeah. Well, they must have approached the clinic and said, do you have skateboarders that can get in this? And they built the float, and
Excellent.
They approached the clinic, and we got into it, and we've been doing it ever since.
No, good stuff. Good call, Mike. Thanks for that, mate. You're in the running for the meat tray.
8223 0000. You can text us too on the Duttons text line 04808 1395. Duttons for unrivaled choice with 10 vehicle brands in the Adelaide Hills and Murray Bridge. Easy to do business with.
Do you talk to your plants? If they could talk back, they'd say, "Oh, roots, help me with my roots." Let's try that again, please, plant. This is a PG station. Sea Soul helps me get stronger roots to access water and nutrients in the soil. You see, your plants are trying to tell you, don't forget the Sea Soul, your complete garden health treatment at Bunnings Warehouse and all good hardware and garden centres.
Celebrity Cruises' award-winning Edge Series ships will have you ticking off up to 10 hotspots in one voyage, resting in accommodations designed to bring you right to the water's edge, dining in up to 32 distinct restaurants, bars and lounges, and flying over the sea on the magic carpet. The world's best ships sailing to the world's best places. More happens on the Edge. Visit celebrity.com/au or contact your travel advisor to book.
Mate, this meat is so good. Where's it from?
Thomas Farms. It's always good.
Even the prawns? You must have gone to the markets.
Nah, Thomas Farms have everything. From seafood, chicken, lamb, even award-winning Angus beef. They have it all, and it's very reasonably priced.
Thomas Farms is owned by a South Australian farming family. They understand great food. Located at Castle Plaza, Colonnades, Cavan, Westlakes and now at Norwood Mall, The Parade. Mention this radio ad for an additional 10% off until December 31st. Thomas Farms. It's always good.
It's Ian Healy, and I'm here to talk to you about back pain and Qantas. If you're one of the 80% of Australians who suffer from back pain, it's tempting to do nothing. But this can cause weaknesses down the road. The best place to start with back pain is exercise. And the best place to exercise is Qantas. Qantas physios and Swiss-designed strength training equipment help you build strength in a supervised environment. I go to Qantas and you can too at our new clinic in Norwood. Book your initial assessment at qantas.com.au.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Jobs, apprenticeships, traineeships and careers. Maxima can help. Learn more today at maxima.com.au.
20 after 6 news headlines on this Friday morning, the 3rd of November. The surfer taken by a shark near Streaky Bay on Tuesday has been named. He was 55-year-old local man Todd Gendel. His family has thanked emergency services and his surfing mates in the wake of the tragedy. Todd's body has not been recovered.
Poor bloke.
A Victorian woman is waking up in custody accused of feeding deadly mushrooms to her in-laws. Erin Patterson, who has always denied any wrongdoing, has been charged now with 3 counts of murder. She'll face court today. The sniffer dogs were at her home. She's been charged with 3 counts of attempted murder as well that pertain to
her husband, her estranged husband,
ex-husband,
who's very much lost his taste for beef Wellingtons after having some previous meals with her.
Well, he had a mystery stint in hospital that's starting to look potentially less mysterious.
Well, he came out after the story broke. He came out straight away and said, pointing the finger at her, and said that he'd been in hospital. He was in intensive care. You know what's amazing about this story? So I subscribed a few different news sites, but I subscribed just for my own interest really to a Latin American news site that aggregates news from across Central America. This is the lead headline this morning in El Tiempo of Colombia. Arrestan a una mujer en Australia por la muerte de 3 personas con hongos venenosos.
Oh.
Police in Australia.
I know, that's the only word.
Hongo is mushroom, venenoso is poisonous. An Australian woman arrested for the murder of 3 people. Like, it's all over the world.
Yeah.
Everyone in Colombia is waking up and reading this story today.
I didn't see an international front page that it wasn't on this morning. From the New York Times to the BBC. It's
extraordinary.
It's absolutely everywhere. Workers continuing to allow at least 65 Australians still stranded in Gaza to escape. 20 Australians, 2 relatives and a permanent resident have made it through the Rafah crossing into Egypt after it opened briefly. They're now in Cairo and arrangements have been made to get them home. Mona is among the Australians who have been able to escape the besieged territory. She says it's bittersweet.
I wish everyone can leave, and I'm so glad that I'm going to see my family there, but I'm not happy at all. That's because I'm leaving my other part, my brothers and sisters, my whole family is still here.
Just terrible. The politics of that too, both Biden and Albo are saying to Israel now, look, this is, you got to pull back a bit on this.
Yeah.
It's
Blinken flying there, I think, at the moment. I saw him jumping on a plane this morning, but the message is going to be loud and clear to Israel. This needs to, at very least, I think the minimum the US is calling for is planned intermittent ceasefires to get aid in.
Yeah, exactly. Because the more civilians are killed by the IDF in this, the worse Israel will look, and the bigger the counter reaction will be.
The Qantas board holds its annual general meeting today. That should be a pretty cheery affair, you'd think. The airline's image has been battered by lost luggage, poor punctuality, selling tickets on flights that never intended to leave.
There's a chance they could have like a spill motion where the shareholder could say,
"You're all out,"
or even aimed at certain individuals.
Yeah.
Todd Sampson will be rocking up, feeling a bit twitchy today.
Yeah.
I don't know why he's become the sort of sole scapegoat of it all.
I actually think it's to some degree because of his kind of persona. He's like kind of a
because he's just annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's annoying.
Yeah, I think he gets the rough end of it because of that.
I mean, he talks about branding and stuff like
that. It does sort of feel like
just sack him on general principle.
It's sort of bearing the lead if you look at Qantas and go, the biggest problem with Qantas is their branding. No, it's probably not. It's probably illegally sacking thousands of staff and selling flights that never existed.
None of which was poor old Todd's idea.
I mean, you could be the best ad guy in the world, I reckon, but that's a tough sell.
He was just sitting up the back looking trendy with his tight-fitting Urge Overkill T-shirt while that was happening.
See, that's why. You've nailed it. That's why he gets picked on.
He gets sacked for being basically a wanker.
Yeah.
That's it.
Key shareholders are expected to vote against the company's remuneration report, meaning the final payment of more than $20 million for Alan Joyce is in doubt. Senior politicians from around the world have agreed on the importance of containing risks from rapid advances in AI. The first ever AI summit is being held in the UK. Deputy Prime Minister Richard Marles is attending on Australia's behalf. He says AI has the capability to improve the lives of many, but warned it should be approached with caution.
Making sure that there is safety built into the way in which those technologies operate is profoundly important, and given the complexity of artificial intelligence, it's really important that that's done at an early stage.
I like this text on the Duttons text line. Re your transition to FM, guys. You'll need to get a couple of Black Thunders to go somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
Usually a beachside location to hand out some crap promotional rubbish. Rob makes the same point, only with a few dummy lines for us for our FM debut. Pemo and the Goodness crossing to the Grey Thunders out at the latest water main burst. It's 6:26.
You know, our show intros and outros could be voiced by Glenn from yesterday that called in.
I think it was Glenn.
Yeah.
That was a great call.
Yeah, I think he'd be on our show. He'd be our roving reporter. The forecast for today, top of 23. The weekend is beautiful. 23 and sunny tomorrow, 25 and sunny on Sunday. Then we get some real warmth next week. 27 Monday, 29 Tuesday, 31 Wednesday, and 33 on Thursday. Tom Wren's joined us in the 5AA Breakfast Studio. There's plenty of stock ready for immediate delivery on Mitsubishi Triton from Agostino, Mitsubishi, Nailsworth and Elizabeth. Morning, Rennie.
Morning, Will. Morning, David. Who's the traffic guys at Arnie Pie in the Sky?
That's right, we'll do that.
Do you have a helicopter licence? I reckon you'd be good, Rennie.
I'd love to do the... he didn't have a great relationship with Kent, did he?
No,
Ken Brockman.
Yeah, Ken Brockman. I can't see through the trees, Kent. Now, let's talk some cricket. What is going on over in India?
Can I ask Glenn Maxwell, was he on the Terps?
Well...
The big show.
The big show, I think, might have been having a couple of brews.
So you don't just fall off a golf cart. I've used a golf cart quite a bit. I've never fallen off one. Have you?
No.
So violently that you get a concussion as well. You can roll out of a golf cart going at a low speed and...
Yeah, totally.
And this comes after remember on a tennis court not long ago, he missed about 6 or 9 months when a friend of his fell on top of him.
How do our cricketers expect us to take these kind of formats of the game seriously if they don't?
I know, it's frustrating.
They don't care. No one cares.
And then
why do we do this in cricket?
I know.
I care about Saturday.
Yeah, I do actually. I want to.
Glenn Maxwell doesn't.
I was talking to a mate of mine last night who's of Irish extraction. He's born, in fact, he grew up on the Falls Road in Belfast. He said, geez, I'm tired. I said, why? He said, I've watched every game England plays. He goes, I have such a pathological hatred of England that I just start before I am cheering for Afghanistan, the Netherlands.
I love it. Yeah.
So Saturday night is big.
Yeah, tomorrow night. So
it's not big, really. It's not really relevant.
It has no ramifications, does it?
Not for England. No, they all they want to do is try and spoil Australia's party.
Right. We just want to make them lose.
Yeah, and I'm sure the stumping will probably be brought up. There'll be a bit going on there.
Pathetic, aren't they?
So we look forward to that. The other thing that happened yesterday, it wrapped up, not sure if you saw this, the Rangers, first time in 63 years, their history. This is how they did it in their best of 7 series.
Marte, strike 3 called! And the Texas Rangers are World Series champions!
Will, you're obviously a great caller. I would love to call baseball. If we lived over there,
would you?
I would love to do. I love all stats and all that kind of stuff. I reckon
it's a long night.
Long night. More than 3,000 games a year. I don't think you have trouble finding a gig.
No, not at all. No, day in, day out. They have an off day a month, generally. It's 1 day a month where there's not a game.
You could go there, Reddy. You become a cult figure. I'd love you.
The Arsey.
Yeah, joining us now, the Arsey. Hey, Tommy! Tommy Wren!
I'd love it. Too many games, though.
It's the only American sport that has anything like the cricket commentary feel where you're telling stories in between.
That's it.
I love all the superstitions of it. Like if someone's approaching a perfect game.
Yes.
No one mentions it.
Yeah.
No one in the commentary team is allowed to mention.
Is that right?
Yeah, if you're into the 7th inning and there's been no hits, no one will talk about it. The stats guy won't mention it. The colour guy won't mention it.
They all know it.
Everyone knows. No one talks about it.
Yeah.
It's just
What's
an
the
accepted
superstition
thing.
called the baby? There's something called the baby.
Well, there's the curses in baseball. That there's been the curse
Bambino.
the
Bambino.
And the curse of the Billy Goat, for the Chicago Cubs and all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That someone didn't get allowed into the stadium with their Billy Goats, so they cursed the stadium. The Cubs didn't win a pennant or the World Series for 100 years. The great Bambino, he got sold from Boston to New York, didn't win the World Series until 2004 from the early 1920s, all that kind of... It's great.
Yeah.
All that romance and,
Be a good spectator sport just for beers and hot dogs too.
Big time, yeah.
Sitting there talking...
Absolute rubbish.
Sitting there with a mate, not talking to your mate.
Yeah.
Just sitting there eating a hot dog, a beer and not talking to your mate.
Exactly.
Just doing nothing.
You've got a good mate when you don't... There's silence.
Yeah. It's like when you watch, really get deep into a test with your mate, and you sit there. It's like yoga for men.
Yeah.
You just go to this zen-like state.
Like 45 minutes goes by and no one says anything. Imagine.
Yeah, and like those great moments where, I don't know, Labuschagne and Smith might be batting themselves in, and you realise you've watched 8 runs in an hour.
And it's been enthralling.
How good is this?
Good on you, ready?
Thanks, boys.
There's plenty of stock ready for immediate delivery on Mitsubishi Triton from Agostino, Mitsubishi, Nailsworth and Elizabeth.
This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Partly cloudy today and a top of 23 with the 6:30 news. I'm Mel Usher.
Keep your body in shape with Physio Extra clinical Pilates and group exercise classes. PhysioExtra.com.
Teachers are pushing ahead with strike action during Year 12 exams. Next Thursday has been earmarked unless the state government comes back with a better deal. They have until Monday to revise their pay offer. There's been a $150,000 house fire at North Adelaide. A blaze started in the kitchen of a home on Francis Street West around 7:30 last night. Crystal Mitchell from the MFS says no one was hurt.
20 firefighters achieved fire control in 10 minutes and extinguished the blaze in 30 minutes. The occupant evacuated with no injuries before MFS arrival.
For the second consecutive month, South Australia is leading the nation in export growth. Latest ABS data shows SA grew 14%, well ahead of the nation's 2.5%. Trade and Investment Minister Nick Champion says India is a major destination.
We've seen India really rise up 11% to $1.1 billion, and that's really on the back of our farmers really exporting huge amounts of lentils, up 231%, almonds up 770%, and a real spike in beans as well, up 1,600%.
More Australians are hoping to flee the conflict in Gaza today as Israeli forces extend their bombing campaign on the Palestinian enclave. More foreign nationals have been able to cross through the Rafah border crossing to Egypt as Israeli tanks and troops push through the outskirts of Gaza City. Correspondent Carrie-Anne Greenbank says 65 Australian citizens, permanent residents and visa holders are still waiting to escape.
I spoke with 2 of them today. Abdallah had been told that he was allowed to cross, but when they got to the border, found out that his wife Samar wasn't on the list, so he has stayed behind to look after her. He has described the absolute horror situation they're facing. He said that the closest explosion to their house was just something like 200 metres away.
The Qantas board can expect a hostile reception when the airline holds its annual general meeting today. Clinton Maynard has more.
The Flying Kangaroo's reputation with passengers is at its lowest level. Poor on-time running, lost luggage, selling tickets on ghost flights and illegally sacking thousands of staff have all battered the airline's image. Former CEO Alan Joyce was forced to pack his bags early, and Chairman Richard Goyder is going as well, but not before appearing at today's AGM and seeking approval for big bonuses. Key shareholders are expected to vote against the company's remuneration report, meaning the final payment of more than $20 million for Mr Joyce is in doubt. There'll also be a vote for several board positions, including the high-profile Todd Sampson.
Well, the Beatles have the #1 song worldwide this morning. It's called Now and Then and was released late last night, our time. It was written and sung by John Lennon in the 70s, developed and worked on by Paul McCartney, George Harrison and Ringo Starr in the 90s, and finally finished by Paul and Ringo. FIVEAA Sport.
There's plenty of stock ready for immediate delivery on Mitsubishi Triton from Agostino Mitsubishi, Nailsworth and Elizabeth.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Mel. Pressure is mounting on the AFL to dramatically reform second-tier competitions. Port Adelaide's second side will potentially leave the SANFL at the end of next year as the power pushes for a national reserves competition, along with the AFL, who wants one by the time Tasmania comes in. Well, the Indian juggernaut is rolling on at the One-Day Cricket World Cup, the host nation returning to the top of the table, remaining unbeaten. That's after a brutal and astonishing 302-run win against Sri Lanka. India posting 8 for 357 before bowling Sri Lanka out for just 55. Well, Aussie Alex de Minaur has reached the final 8 at the Paris Tennis Masters. Craig Gabriel reports.
By reaching the last 16, Alex de Minaur recorded his 200th career match win. By reaching the quarters, he's still at 200 because he got through on a walkover. De Minaur was due to play Yannick Sinner, who's lost to 5 times, but Sinner withdrew because of fatigue. The Italian's coach, Darren Cahill, was the one who told de Minaur. Sinner had finished his previous match at about 2:30 a.m. and didn't get to bed till 6 a.m. De Minaur now takes on Andrei Rublev, and Alex still has an outside chance of qualifying for the ATP finals.
Yeah, that's exciting stuff. Briefly elsewhere, Eddie Jones has been invited to contribute to Rugby Australia's post-World Cup review. And in some baseball to finish, the Texas Rangers have won their first ever World Series championship with a 4-1 series victory against the Arizona Diamondbacks. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now the 5AA forecast, partly cloudy for your Friday, 23, sunny tomorrow, 23, Sunday, sunny and 25, and 27 on Monday. Right now it's 12 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Know someone finishing school and looking for an apprenticeship or a traineeship? Visit maxima.com.au.
24 to 7, monumental evening in the history of music. The very final song released by the Beatles' original four, with composition and credited to Lennon, McCartney, Harrison and Starr, was released. Came out about 6.5 hours ago. We're going to play it for you in full in about 15 minutes' time and give you the opportunity to give an instant reaction, whether it's a hit or a miss.
Have you heard it yet?
I've only heard snippets.
I haven't heard any of it.
I've read a few critical reviews that have all been pretty good.
Yeah, right.
But we'll play it for you and let the 5AA audience decide just before 7 o'clock this morning. We're also asking you about when you've appeared in the Christmas pageant, because we've got a meat tray to give away to someone who is a pageant veteran. You can pop in and see the wonderful team at the brand new Thomas Farm store at Nord Mall, the Parade, or at their stores at Castle Plaza, Colonnades, Cavern, or West Lakes. Ray, good morning.
Good morning. How are you guys?
Good, thank you, Ray. Have you been in the pageant?
Yes, I've been in, tomorrow I've been in the 11th time.
Oh, wow, so you're going in tomorrow?
Yes, and I was first in 1959.
Oh, wow, you've been doing it for decades.
Yeah, I will, when I do, yeah. And, yeah, I love it. I really love it.
You must have been just a little girl in 1959, Ray.
No, I was about 14 at the time.
Oh, wow.
What was the pageant like back then, compared to now?
More fairy tale-ish back those days.
Okay.
Yeah, lovely. It was beautiful. I loved it.
And what's your connection to the pageant, Ray?
I used to work for John Martin's.
Oh, really? What did you do there?
I worked in the corset and bra department, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Corsets? No one even... Do you even buy corsets anymore?
I'm not really sure, actually.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure. No, that was my first job, and then I was at the opening of Arndale when Arndale opened.
Oh, wow. Oh, good on you, Ray.
Fantastic.
Great memories, thank you. Let's go to Des. Morning, Des.
G'day there, how you going?
Good, mate.
Good, thank you, Des.
I was in the pageant for 61 years.
61 years?
So when did you start, Des?
Well, I started in 1954 when I was 12 years old with the High Marsh Band, and I later joined the band of the South Australia Police, and I was in it there
wow.
for 42 years there. And then after I retired...
Are you still there, Des? Oh, no, I was loving that story. I think Des's
phone's dropped out.
Disappeared. I wanted to ask what instrument Des played. Maybe we can call him back, or Des can call us back.
Yeah, okay, let's go to Jane. Morning, Jane.
Good morning, boys. What a small world Adelaide is, isn't it?
It
know,
is.
they reckon you know somebody, everybody knows everybody in Adelaide. That lady, Ray, who just spoke, she probably knew my Auntie Gladys, who worked in the corset department too.
That is such an Adelaide thing, isn't it?
Oh, it's such a small world. And she's probably hearing me now and hearing the name Gladys and thinking, oh, I knew her.
Auntie, Jane from Northfield, your Auntie Gladys worked with Ray from North Haven.
Yeah.
Oh, that's terrific.
All those years ago.
In the bra and corset department.
Yes, yeah.
That's terrific, Jane.
Good on you, Jane. Thank you. Tony, good morning.
Hi, I knew a lady who worked in the corset and bra department, and she called herself a fitter and turner.
A fitter and turner. Oh, that's priceless. Her name wasn't Gladys or Ray, was it, Tony?
I'm not going to say who it is, because she's not far away from me, and if she hears that, I'm not sure how she'll react.
Yeah, okay. No, that's smart.
That's clever.
Survival first.
Fitter and turner.
Thank you, Tony.
That was just golden radio, wasn't it?
How
Adelaide was that?
Just want to ask the question generally. Do we have any 5AA listeners who didn't work in the Brian Corset section at John Martin's. Just anyone. Des has called back in. Morning, Des.
Hey, g'day there. I'm sorry about that.
No worries, Des. I was going to ask you, Des, what instrument did you play when you were the High March band and the police band?
I was a drummer.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And,
so like a marching band? So it was like a snare and you had to walk along?
Yeah, it was a municipal brass band in those days when I started with them as a kid. And as I said before, I joined the police force and became a member of the South Australian Police Band. And I was percussionist there and ended up deputy drum major and drum major later on. But I was in there for 42 years and, of course, marched in the pageant for 42 years. And then after I retired in 2002, I continued playing with the what was firstly the John Reynolds Drum Corps and later become the Raiders. And I started that off when after I came back from Edinburgh in 1990.
So you said there's 61 years all up in the pageant?
Yes, 61.
Geez, I reckon...
Advertiser did a story on me at one stage there.
Really? That would have to be a record, I would imagine. It's extraordinary.
Yeah, well, Brian, what's his name that runs the pageant? Yeah, he could verify my story.
Oh, no, we don't doubt you, Des. We believe
great.
you.
Yeah. Good call, Des. Thank you for sharing the story with us.
Happy to take more stories on 8223 0088. You can jump on the Foodland Supermarkets Facebook and YouTube live stream to share with us when you've been in the pageant. Now, you don't have to have been in 60 of them. You could have been in 2. Or maybe tomorrow's your first. You're all eligible to win a meat tray thanks to Thomas Farms.
Do you ever work in the Bra and Corset department of John Martin?
I haven't, and I feel suddenly completely out of touch with the audience.
I can think of worse places to work.
Do you reckon you'd lend a certain level of expertise?
What on earth are you suggesting?
I'm just asking. I just don't think they let any random in. You know,
a few people say, "Oh, yeah, I'll give it a whirl."
I think you've got to demonstrate some level of skill. I was just asking whether you possess that level of skill.
No, I never worked there.
Okay.
I'm too busy pumping petrol at Esso.
Yes.
On Sturt Road.
All right, let's check traffic thanks to Keezer. Are you tired of back pain? Try Keezer, KIESER.com.au.
Good morning. Road plates are in use at Medindi due to a loose pit lid on Robe Terrace near Medindi Road. Got a burst water main at Salisbury East on McIntyre Road near Peacock Road. The left-hand lane is closed with speeds at 40 outbound. Same restrictions in place for a manhole that's caved in on South Road just before Dawes Road. That's at Melrose Park. Check your speed, Main North Road, Blakeview. The King Living Spring Sale is extended. Save up to 50% on selected Australian design furniture. Hurry must end this Sunday. Visit the King Living Keswick showroom today. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
This weekend at Coles, earn double barbecue credits towards my free Curtis Stone barbecue collection. Spend $20 in one transaction and scan your flybys to earn 2 barbecue credits this weekend.
Offer ends November 5th. In-store only. Exclusions and T's and C's apply. Since 1982, our passionate teams at First National Real Estate have worked 10,400 days and around 582 million hours across Australia with one common goal: to always put you first. And we'll be here in Adelaide to help you on your journey to your happy place. Be it a tree change, a sea change, upsize, downsize, or finding that investment gem. First National Real Estate. We put you first. firstnational.com.au.
It's easy to get behind the wheel of a new Mawson Lakes Volkswagen right now. In fact, it's ridiculously easy. All you need to do is head to the showroom on Salisbury Highway, check out the range of new and demo Volkswagens on sale now, and then pick your favourite. How easy is that? All stock is ready for immediate delivery, with easy finance options available. And remember our next day servicing. Mawson Lakes Volkswagen, Salisbury Highway, just a short drive from the city.
Join us for a week of birthday celebrations at 40 Winks. Head in store and save 50% off mattresses and 30% off furniture. Exclusions and T's and C's apply. Hurry, our birthday sale ends this Sunday. 40 Winks, serious about sleep.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Jobs, apprenticeships, traineeships and careers. Maxima can help. Learn more today at maxima.com.au.
15 to 7, new music from the Beatles coming up next. first, let's check in with the Weather Bureau. Simon Timke joins us. Simon, looks like we've got a magnificent weekend on the way.
Yeah, it sure does. Beautiful weather for the pageant tomorrow morning, Will. So that's good news after last year's effort.
Oh, yeah.
But it was a memorable day, that one, wasn't it? For today, looking at the satellite picture at the moment, quite a bit of cloud about the eastern slopes of the hills, but clear over the city side. A little bit of patchy high cloud moving across, but it's pretty thin and not enough to stop the sunshine coming through. So plenty of sunshine over the Adelaide Plains today, I think. The winds south to southeasterly, we'll see them a little bit fresh and gusty about the hills at first, and some sea breezes developing near the coast during the afternoon, which will freshen the winds up a bit as well. For our temperatures today, we had an overnight minimum of 10.1 degrees just after 2:30, currently sitting on 11.3 in the city, and expecting a maximum temperature of 23 degrees. Around the suburbs, a maximum of 25 for Elizabeth, 22 degrees for Glenelg, 20 for Mount Barker, and 21 degrees for Noarlunga today. For Saturday pageant day, mostly sunny day with southeasterly winds. Again, probably a little bit gusty about the hills and southern suburbs to start off with, and some sea breezes freshening up about the coast during the afternoon. Down to 10 degrees overnight and a maximum of 23 degrees for Saturday. A bit warmer on Sunday, a sunny day with the winds east to southeasterly and afternoon sea breezes. Again, 25 degrees. Then mostly sunny days ahead Monday right through to Thursday next week, with the temperatures getting a little bit warmer each day. Monday 27, Tuesday 29, 31 for Wednesday and 33 for Thursday. So starting to feel a little bit like summer through the middle part of next week, guys.
Lovely. Beautiful set of numbers there, Simon. Thank you.
Let's head to Sapole. Senior Constable Kate Dawson joins us. Kate, there's been a hotel robbery at Ingle Farm last night.
Yeah, this was about 11:45 last night. Police were called to a hotel on Montague Road following reports of an aggravated robbery. So a man allegedly entered the gaming room of the hotel armed with a machete and threatened staff, and he stole a large amount of money before leaving the area on foot and was last seen heading towards Rupina Street. So fortunately no one was physically injured as a result of the incident. We called in PD Edge to assist with the search for the suspect, but unfortunately he was unable to locate him at this time. So the suspect is a male described as being about 178 centimetres tall with a heavy build. He was wearing a dark-coloured tracksuit with a full-face black balaclava, black gloves, Nike sneakers, and was carrying a large black bag. So just asking anybody with any information or maybe how to assist with that to contact Crime Stoppers on 1-800-333-000.
Kate, also out north there was a ram raid at Hampstead Gardens this morning.
Yeah, this all unfolded just before 3 a.m. this morning. Police were called to a second-hand dealership store on North East Road after reports of an alarm activation. So when police arrived, they found that the front doors had been completely smashed in and there was significant damage inside the store, indicating that a number of items had been stolen. So we searched the building and the surrounding area. However, we didn't locate any suspects. The police went back and viewed the CCTV and they identified that a stolen Ford Transit van had been used to smash in the front roller door to gain entry. There was a number of occupants of that vehicle and they were seen to enter the store before then leaving again a short time later in the van. So again, we're just asking anybody who may have seen this Ford Transit van or anyone acting suspiciously in the area this morning to contact Crime Stoppers on 1-800-333-000.
Good stuff, Kate. Thanks for that. Have a great weekend. Senior Constable Kate Dawson there from Sapole.
11-7 in 2023. Here we are about to play a brand new Beatles single. It's the magic of technology, and I guess the magic of this band that can pull from so many sources to put something together that's both new and old at the same time. The story of the song Now and Then is a fascinating one. It was originally recorded by John Lennon in the 70s in a very rough demo way. He recorded it on a piano in his home. It was given to Paul McCartney in 1994 by Yoko Ono on 2 different discs that had 4 songs on them in total. Free as a Bird and Real Love, that would go on to become 2 new songs that were released in 94 as part of the Beatles anthology that you might recall was released at the time. Another one, Grow Old With Me, actually had been released for John Lennon posthumously. The 4th song was Now and Then. The band in 94 got together to make it, wanting to record this is the 3rd single of new material they're going to release alongside the anthology. But in the end, it broke down because there was this hum, this metallic hum through the recording, because it wasn't done in a studio. It was literally John Lennon in his house sitting at a piano. And George Harrison was the one, according to Paul McCartney, who said, this sounds, well, I can't use the language he used, He said it didn't sound very good, and there's nothing to do here. And Paul McCartney said, we've always been a democracy.
Yeah.
George didn't think it was up to standard, so we left it. They've left it until now, because what they found was in the filming of Get Back, the Peter Jackson documentary, they were able to do things that they hadn't been able to do before with technology and make sounds more crisp and clear and so forth. So Paul McCartney and Ringo Starr got together with John Lennon's original recording, with George Harrison's guitar, a bit that he'd laid down in 1994, and pieced together the rest of it. Here's Paul McCartney talking about making the music.
All of those memories come flooding back. My God, how lucky was I to have those men in my life and to work with those men so intimately and to come up with such a body of music. To still be working on Beatles music in 2023, wow. We're actually messing around with state-of-the-art technology, which is something the Beatles would have been very interested in. Now and then, it's probably like the last Beatles song, and we've all played on it, so it is a genuine Beatle recording.
Here is Now and Then. We'd love you to call in over the course of the song when it's concluded and just tell us hit or miss. The new Beatles song, Now and Then, hit or miss. 8223 0000 is the number. the making. Hit or miss, folks. Do you like it or not? 8223 0000 is the number. Get calling now.
Isn't it weird hearing John's voice?
Oh, that was eerie.
It's amazing.
And you know what I like? It sounded like a song from the 70s. It didn't sound like some tricked up modern abomination.
You know what it reminded me of? The lyrics with that sort of slightly nasal sort of intonation. It sounds a little bit like Mind Games.
Yeah.
You know, it's got, and the layering of the music. It's not. You're right. It does. It's very much a '70s song.
Yeah, I liked it. I don't want to preempt what people say. 8223 0000. Let's get some listers on and just do a hit or miss. A very quick snap poll of what 5AA listeners think of the new Beatles track. David, good morning. Hit or miss?
Miss, mate. It's more like a funeral song.
Thank you, David.
Yeah, it's quite melancholy.
It is.
Yeah.
Sam, good morning.
Morning, boys. Hey, just a quick one. The Beatles, they had a really good promotional system back in the 70s. Remember the Beatles cartoons?
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it was really smart of them because halfway through the cartoon, they used to have a Beatles song with a bouncing ball to sing along.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right.
And over the years, after I got older, I used to start buying Beatles music.
Got you in.
What
did you think of the
new song?
I love the song. I'm going to get it, and I definitely like it. Yep.
Good on you, Sam. Troy, good morning.
Morning. Are you kidding me? It's a Beatles song. It's a new Beatles song. It's fantastic. Love it.
Hit. Thank you, Troy. Stacey, good morning.
Good morning. I love it. I think it's fantastic, but they can do that sort of music now.
Good on you, Stacey.
Thank you, Stacey. Kerry, good morning.
Oh, good morning. It just brought me to tears. It's so Beatles, a big hit.
Yeah, it was funny watching people walk out of the theatre where they launched it. So many people were crying. They did a little of a documentary around a 14-minute documentary where they had all the guys talking. And I think if you love a band so much, to see that when you think you never get to see it again would be quite an emotional experience.
Yeah, for sure.
Diane, good morning.
Oh, hit. Made me cry. It's beautiful. Thank you.
Good on you, Diane. Thank you. Barry, good morning.
No, I'm sorry. It's a miss. It was pretty boring.
Okay. Thank you, Barry. Sue, good morning.
Good morning, guys. It's a miss from me, but it will be a huge hit just because of who it is.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sue.
We had a strong result for hit, but we had a few misses as well.
I think Lucy's been compiling some data out in the booth. Morning, Luce.
Yes, good morning. Had a few calls and texts, so I've tallied them all up. Very, very close. So far we're at 9 for hit, 7 for miss.
Okay. All right. So just a hit. Be interested to know I'm assuming the profile of the people that vote are all Beatles fans.
Well, yeah, that's right. I mean, there are certain people who never really got into the Beatles.
Yeah.
So
interesting.
they'd be voting
you can
too.
keep votes coming through. You can keep calling through. It is not every day that the Beatles release new music, or B, we play a full song on 5AA either. So
yeah,
a very rare occurrence this morning.
Never happened in the 10 years we've been working together.
Never have it. Never happened.
Outside of a Grand Vinyl Eve party.
Well, that's a different...
With our great friends at Clarity Records.
That's a different beast altogether.
Certainly is.
5AA News is coming up. We'll do our... we're going to talk about the AEU strike action that's proposed for next Thursday with the Education Minister next.
You don't live in a home. You grow up in one. At Metricon, we didn't become the most trusted by being the cheapest. We did it by caring more. For over 45 years, it's our commitment to doing things the right way. The Metricon way. And right now, get the stylish 4-bedroom Delta 22 with peak facade from just $239,900. Metricon, love where you live. Conditions apply. Excludes land and site costs. BLD 231776.
This doesn't sound like a conference. This doesn't sound like a work trip. And this doesn't sound like team building. Because conferences and events sound different with Discovery Events. With amazing venues in special places across Australia, including Adelaide Hills, Victor Harbour, Nagambie Lakes, Rottnest Island and Byron Bay. Sound great? Visit discoveryevents.com.au, your destination for premier venues in unique locations across Australia.
Online, on DAB Digital Radio and on 1395 AM. Talking Adelaide. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Partly cloudy today and a top of 23 with the 7 o'clock news. I'm Mel Usher.
Hydrotherapy at Physio Extra Marion has individual sessions and classes claimable on private health and NDIS.
Teachers will take strike action next Thursday unless the state government improves its most recent pay offer by an extra 3% per year for the next 3 years. It's given the government until Monday, otherwise the industrial action will go ahead. That means the stop work will happen during Year 12 exams. There's been a ram raid at a cash converters in Hampstead Gardens. Senior Constable Kate Dawson says the shop on North East Road was targeted just before 5 a.m.
When police arrived, they found that the front doors had been completely smashed in and there was significant damage inside the store, indicating that a number of items had been stolen. We searched the building and the surrounding area, however, we didn't locate any suspects.
The hunt is continuing for the stolen Ford Transit van used in the smash and grab. Final preparations are underway at Stardust Castle ahead of tomorrow's Christmas pageant. Thousands of people will take part in the annual essay tradition through the CBD. Father Christmas will be the star attraction, greeting the people at the Adelaide Town Hall. A woman accused of serving up a poisoned lunch to her in-laws has been charged with 3 counts of murder. Erin Patterson is accused of cooking a dish with death cap mushrooms in Victoria's Gippsland in July, which she denies. She's also been charged with 5 counts of attempted murder related to previous incidents. Criminal defence lawyer George Ballard says it will be a lengthy court process.
The typical murder case in the state of Victoria takes anywhere between 1 to 2 years to finalise by the time it reaches the Supreme Court for a trial, and a person remains in custody whilst all this happens unless the Supreme Court grants bail.
The Qantas board can expect a hostile reception when the airline holds its annual general meeting today. Poor on-time running, lost luggage, selling tickets on ghost flights and illegally sacking thousands of staff have all hurt the airline's image. Former CEO Alan Joyce was forced to pack his bags early, and Chairman Richard Goyder will be going, but not before appearing at today's AGM and seeking approval for big bonuses. Dozens of Australians are desperately trying to escape Gaza, where conflict between Israel and Hamas is intensifying. 20 citizens managed to escape through the Rafah border crossing into Egypt. Western Sydney man Abdullah Darlan has chosen to stay in the war-torn strip with his wife, who was turned back at the border. His son Shaher says it's been tough to take.
It's very difficult. We're just trying to take it day by day. It's really something that you don't plan for or even contemplate ever occurring. To put it frankly, like being in a sick, twisted nightmare. It's difficult to deal with.
And the Beatles are back. The final single from the FIVEAA, Now and Then, has been released. It's a John Lennon demo from the 1970s, which the remaining members started working on in the 1990s. It's #1 on iTunes worldwide. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
There's plenty of stock ready for immediate delivery on Mitsubishi Triton from Agostino Mitsubishi, Nailsworth and Elizabeth.
It's over to Tom Wren.
Thank you, Mel. Talks are on between Port Adelaide and the AFL about the possibility of moving the Power into a National Reserves competition. As it stands, the Maggies and Crows are playing in the Sandful and are contracted to do so until 2028, but there is a chance both could break out of the competition before then. Executive General Manager of the Sandful, Matthew Doldig, telling Rowie and Timmy G, no matter what happens, the competition will remain strong.
We're really confident that should an AFL Reserves competition come in, and Port and the Crows wanted to play in that it would have a really strong Sandful 18 competition.
To cricket, and India has again underlined its status as the team to beat at the World Cup, with the host destroying Sri Lanka by a whopping 302 runs in Mumbai. Chasing 358 to win, Sri Lanka was all out for only 55. Mohammad Shami with a man of the match performance, taking 5 for 18. Action will continue tonight with the Netherlands taking on Afghanistan. While there was one game in the WBBL yesterday, the Hobart Hurricanes beating the Melbourne Stars by 6 wickets. Alex de Minaur is through to the quarterfinals of the Paris Masters after his opponent, Yannick Sinner, withdrew before the match. To basketball, the Brisbane Bullets have made it 3 straight wins after easily beating the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix 108-92. The Bullets are currently sitting in 5th spot, while the Sixers will be looking to make it 3 straight wins when they take on the Perth Wildcats in Perth tomorrow night. Meantime, Josh Giddey had 15 points, 9 rebounds and 4 assists, but it wasn't enough as his Oklahoma City Thunder went down to the New Orleans Pelicans 110-106. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now the 5AA traffic.
Reimagine your home, elevate your life at 88 O'Connell Street Luxury Apartments. See 88o'connell.com.
In Medindi, road plates are in use due to a loose pit lid on Robe Terrace near Medindi Road. Also, burst water main at Salisbury East. That's on McIntyre Road near Peacock Road. Left-hand lane is closed and speeds are at 40 outbound. Same restrictions in place for a manhole that's caved in on South Road just before Dawes Road at Melrose Park. And just be sure to check your speed, Midway Road, Elizabeth Park. Think Subway footlongs can't get bigger? Order a footlong sub on the Subway app for a chance to win a giant inflatable footlong today only. T's and C's apply at subway.com. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
The 5AA forecast, partly cloudy today, 23, sunny tomorrow 23, up to 25 and sunny on Sunday, and 27 degrees on Monday. Right now it is 12. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Jobs, apprenticeships, traineeships and careers. Maxima can help. Learn more today at maxima.com.au.
7:07 in a moment, the Education Minister Blair Boyer is going to join us. Public school teachers yesterday voted to walk off the job next week. It will take place on Thursday unless there is a new, better offer from the state government by Monday. If their demands are met on Monday, there's no strike action. Doesn't seem like that's going to happen because the gap between the two sides is large. We've got some intel on that for you. Of course, ours, and I suspect a whole heap of parents' thoughts immediately go to Year 12 students who...
Well, it's good that somebody's thoughts go immediately to Year 12 students. I mean, we're talking here about the COVID generation, the most disrupted generation of kids since World War II. 3 of their 5 years of schooling have been screwed up, stuffed around with remote learning, school being on, off, all of their social events being cancelled for the better part of 2 years, sport being cancelled, and now right at the death knell, the cherry on top for these kids is that these pig-headed morons at the AEU are going to bung on a strike. And the exams that are on that day, it's not so much the exams that are on that day, it's the exams that are on the following day.
Yeah, so on that day's physics and accounting, but if you're a biology student or a modern history student that wants to run a last question by your teacher on the Thursday, well, good luck.
Yeah.
They're going to be unavailable.
I can remember, I did Year 12 biology, and I didn't do very well at it. And I can remember talking to my teacher, Miss Ahrens, the day before, trying to cram all sorts of stuff in, trying to remember how chlorophyll was made, and I think I got 66% in the end.
English literacy
did poorly. Like, you need to revise. You need your teacher there.
English literary studies is Monday. That'd be one of the biggest, I imagine, going around as well.
This union, it does not represent the good teachers.
No.
It represents the clock watchers, the bludgers, and if you want evidence that they are running a protection racket, just remember, this union, it's always bristled, because it's got the old-fashioned Marxist sort of all for one for all ethos. That's their sort of 1960s mentality when it comes to how they run their union. So they've always opposed things like performance pay. They've always opposed things like NAPLAN because they worry that it could be a reflection on the individual teachers themselves. Why is your class not going that well? Maybe there's a problem with the way you're teaching. So anything that invites scrutiny of teachers, they have a hardwired hostility towards that. And, you know, overwhelmingly, from personal experience, from having worked as an education journo for a long time, from knowing a lot of teachers, from everything you know, the overwhelming majority of teachers are great. They're disciplined.
Yep.
They are driven. They'd almost do it for free because it's like a calling. But if you want further evidence, my understanding is in this dispute, one of the biggest sticking points, and this is a policy Labor took to the election. It's not something they've sprung on them since Malinauskas won a year and a half ago. They've to his credit, Mally said that they want to change the system so that principals get more autonomy about who they have in their schools as teachers. So the idea is that if they have an absolute stinker of a teacher, at the moment it is almost impossible for principals to get rid of them. The process is so drawn out, it takes 6 months or longer, and they just shrug their shoulders and go, "We'll just leave them here." So the government wants to streamline the process. The union is saying, no, we're not having that. That's a hire and fire clause. It gives the principals too much power. They're one of the only workplace in the world where if you're useless, you get to keep your job.
Yeah, hire and fire. So just to be clear, that's pretty much the environment every other employed person in the country works under.
100%. And we're only talking about, nothing any more important than the ability of your child to learn. But, in the other thing too, I mean, all this stuff about the face-to-face teaching time, I mean, their original demand, a 20% reduction. That's a day a week without teaching. Crazy. And the government has shifted on that somewhat. They're giving them an hour a week of less teaching time. But, they're economic vandals. If they got their way, 20% reduction in teaching time, that would have meant that the government would have had to hire 3,000 more teachers overnight.
We did ask the head of the AEU here in South Australia, Andrew Gold, when he was on the other week, what provision had been made for Year 12 students in the event that the strike did go ahead. Here's what he said to us.
So the kids are about to do the Year 12 exams. They just got to sort of fit in with your broader industrial agenda, do they? After 3 years of COVID disruptions and all the dramas they've had, in the the final term of their schooling, you're going to go on strike.
If there are teachers who are involved in supporting Year 12 students whilst they're doing their exams, then I'm sure we can work our way around that. I mean, we're not going to be disadvantaging Year 12 students. However...
Well, what if you're not at school and they can't actually study or revise? If the schools are shut, what do they do?
Well, look, Year 12s are pretty independent studiers, so I'm sure they'll be studying...
You haven't even thought about this, have you? That hasn't even crossed your mind.
Look, we will not disadvantage Year 12 students. I don't know what else I can say to that.
Well, how will you not disadvantage them if you're on strike?
Well, as I've said, those teachers who are supporting Year 12 students will continue supporting Year 12 students, and we'll be able to give those teachers that exemption. I don't think
you haven't even discussed it, have you? It hasn't even crossed your minds yet.
Yeah, no, we have.
So Year 12, so teachers of Year 12 students won't be going on strike.
Well, we will take that advice from our members if there are sites where there's particular things going on. We understand those circumstances.
So that's the state of play. We asked the questions last week. Now it has become a reality, unless there's a chance that a new agreement is meted out over the weekend and struck by Monday. The Education Minister, Blair Boyer, joins us on the program. Minister, good morning. First and foremost, is there any chance of a better offer coming to the union by Monday, do you think?
Listen, there is a chance. We're working towards that. As you correctly identified in your comments before, though, that we've still got a way to go. Still a fair gulf between the two parties in terms of what the union's asking for and what we can actually plausibly deliver. But I guess what sort of has annoyed me around the industrial action forecast for next Thursday is we're already on a path to trying to do that. Like, adding another day of industrial action, particularly during Year 12 exams, isn't bringing that forward. Isn't bringing the potential of a third offer from the government forward. We have remained at the table trying to find a way through this the whole time. So all it's going to do is inconvenience, particularly the kids who on Thursday are going to be doing physics and accounting, and not actually going to, I guess, bolster the union's arguments and not going to in any way kind of bring forward our timeline. We're already trying to do this as a government.
The percentage figure, Blair Boyer, my understanding, I'm not sure if this is still the union's position, but do they want 8.4% in the first year?
Yes, that's still the position, and we have made that very clear that that is not possible.
Well, how would you do that logically? How could you look the nurses and the AMBOs in the eye when I think you gave the nurses 3 and the AMBOs 2.6, was it?
That's right. That would be hard, and that would be even harder, though, would be that I think I would have to close programs in the education department to fund it. At an 8.4% level, remember, I would have to close programs off to be able to find that money. And not these kind of, they'd be nice to have, but not vital programs. I'm talking like the fundamental kind of programs that the education department runs to make sure that kids come out of primary and high school knowing some stuff.
Is there a broader issue here, though? And what I was saying before about my understanding about how they're arcing up about the Labor government's policy to give principals more autonomy over the hiring and not firing, well, in some cases, I guess, firing of teachers who are demonstrably hopeless at their jobs. Who's in charge of education policy in this state and indeed this country? Is it the education departments and the governments of the day, or is it the AEU?
Well, that's a good point, because I can tell you when we proposed that policy shift, and Peter did it, as you said, out of opposition. It wasn't popular in a lot of quarters, and we knew, Peter and I knew that it wouldn't be, but it was based on the feedback that we had in our 4 years as opposition, going around and not just speaking to classroom teachers, and there's lots of things we proposed as election commitments to support classroom teachers, including increasing permanency in the system by at least 10%, making the country incentive ongoing. These are things we were already doing. But, the feedback too was around giving principals some more autonomy around who they can, hire and who they can move on if they're not up to scratch.
Yeah, like any other workplace.
Is there an example, Minister, that readily comes to mind that you've heard from a principal that it comes to the current difficulty faced by them in dealing with people that just frankly aren't up to snuff, aren't up to scratch, and the students that are suffering? Is there a story that's ever stood out to you that's been told to you about the kind of thing that might change should this policy get through?
I think the issue has been, it's a good question, the issue that was all kind of, anecdote that was always passed on to me by principals was around a teacher who had been, and let me say from the outset, I've got to say, there are very few of these.
Yeah, we're talking about a tiny number.
Yeah, most of them work their absolute backsides off and are of a high standard, but sometimes there are those, like there are in any workplace. God knows there are lots of them in my workplace, who aren't up to scratch, who are kind of moved around the system, and principals basically know they're being asked to take that non-performer on,
right,
often at the expense of the kind of young gun contract teacher who gets moved on to another school on another contract. And part of that is why we're increasing permanency, and we are converting them at a rapid rate. But that's the kind of scenario where, you need to take X person who's been in the system a long time. We probably all know that they're not, firing on all cylinders, so to speak. And that's what we're trying. That's what we're trying to find a way through and a way of dealing with those kind of issues. But overall, quality of staff is bloody good in difficult circumstances. No doubt about it.
So, given that you are in the middle of negotiations, if the union does go ahead with its strike threat next week, Minister, that would be protected industrial action, i.e. there's nothing, you have no legal powers at your disposal to take them to the Industrial Commission to prevent them from striking or anything, do you?
No, that's correct.
Right, yeah. And it sounds like, bottom line though, in terms of the actual pay demand, the 8.4%, the government's not going to, just flat out not going to go anywhere near that for the precedent and also because it's unaffordable.
Both those reasons, exactly right. I mean, just can't be done. I mean, this is not hyperbole from the Education Minister when I say, I'd have to shut down some fundamental programs to get there. But, putting all those things aside and putting aside the fact that we've got pending strike action Thursday, the negotiations behind the scenes have actually been really positive the whole way through. That's the thing that I almost find most frustrating about this. Neither party's ever walked away from the table and said, bugger it. They've never not been able to get a meeting with the Education Minister, and we've never not been able to get a meeting with them. In my mind, this is just not necessary. We have been on the right path of eventually getting there, and we don't need to have more industrial action.
Yeah, 100%. Let's hope sanity prevails. Blair Boyer, the Education Minister, thanks for joining us this morning. We've got a lot of messages along these lines too from teachers, some remaining anonymous, others quite happily putting their names to it, saying that they're actually embarrassed by what the union's doing. Trish in Highgate says, "Hi Dave and Will, I'm a teacher, I'm a union member and I voted not to strike. The timing is wrong, but it does not detract from the increasing challenges we are facing every day. I love being a teacher, but I'm worried for the future of our students and staff if these issues are not addressed." So a lot of teachers saying that some of the issues that the union is running on are fine, but their methods are just demented. I mean, even if you think that the union is 100% right, can't you just take a sort of public relations-driven approach to the tactic and go, hey, Andrew, mate, what are you thinking? Because it's just, everyone is just smashing them for it. And rightly so. Unbelievable.
And the The point the Minister makes is a good one about the redistribution of underperforming teachers in the system, of which we're talking about a precious few. But everyone that does get redistributed around is a spot taken by a kid who's graduated high school, gone to uni, and is probably desperate to become a teacher. And is really passionate about it and wants to be there.
Yeah,
and they have to float around doing temp jobs and being...
And while the AU runs a protection racket for deadwood.
Yeah.
And incompetence. That's what it is.
Yeah. So, and that's not a bagging teachers. That's trying to give opportunity to young gun teachers.
Yeah, yeah. And why shouldn't the better teachers get paid more than the bad ones? Like any other workplace operates that way. It's crazy. But good text here from Kaz in Brompton. As an ex-union delegate and a branch secretary, my policy, which was not in step, was striking was always the absolute last resort. I find the attitude of the AU both protectionist and almost blackmail in the so-called negotiation stand, stating that they're calling for a strike before discussions have concluded is deplorable. Good on you, Kaz.
All right, keep the thoughts coming through. Dutton's text line for unrivalled choice with 10 vehicle brands in the Adelaide Hills and Murray Bridge. Dutton's easy to do business with. Let's check traffic thanks to Keys. Are you tired of back pain? Well, it's time to try Keys at KIESER.com.au.
In Hindmarsh, a car fire on Port Road near Adams Street. Road plates are in use at Medindi due to a loose pit lid on Robe Terrace near Medindi Road. Burst water main at Salisbury East on McIntyre Road near Peacock Road. The left-hand lane is closed and speeds are at 40 outbound. Same restrictions in place at Melrose Park for a manhole that's caved in on South Road just before Dawes Road. Check your speed. Springbank Road, Clapham. Freedom Summer Sofa Sale is on now. Get up to 25% off selected sofas, living and dining furniture. Sale ends Monday, only at Freedom. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
5AA Mornings with Matthew Pantelis.
Curbside waste collection being charged by weight. Surely this isn't going to get off the ground, is it? Maybe just the bin into the back of the truck, but that's as far as you'd want it to go. You don't want to pay as you throw. What are our rates for, if that's the case? David Spears is the opposition leader. He joins me now.
Weekday mornings from 9.
It would have a disproportionate impact on young families.
On 1395, Adelaide's 5AA.
Reimagine your home, elevate your life at 88 O'Connell Luxury Apartments. There's 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom apartments now selling from $1.2 million. 88 O'Connell is redefining residential luxury with amenities never seen before in Adelaide. From a New York-inspired sky deck, Mercato fresh produce market, wine bar, integrated wellness studios, sauna, pools and allied healthcare. To learn more, visit our display suite or inquire at 88o'connell.com.
At Coles, there's great value hands down across fruit and veg this week. Like sweet 100% Aussie raspberries, just $5 for a 125-gram punnet. Get great value hands down at Coles. Offer ends Tuesday.
Breaking a windscreen, look, it's not sexy, it's unexciting and simply not fun. Can also be costly. At Complete Windscreens, we get it. All you want is same-day service at the best price and quality guaranteed. For near 50 years, this SA-owned and operated auto glass company has serviced your needs. Whether it's tinting, chip repair, calibration, supply and fit or glass cutting, we are there for you. 220 Main North Road Prospect, the big red koala out the front, CompleteWindscreens.com.au.
As we all know, SA continues to go through a housing crisis, but McGuire Real Estate are trying to help as best they can.
So if you're a landlord looking to sell your property but feeling a bit guilty about disrupting an awesome tenant, well, McGuire want to help. They've got landlords ready to buy your property and keep that tenant in place.
McGuire have hundreds of landlords ready to buy investment properties right now, so there's no need to stress about asking the tenant to move out or waiting for the lease to end. These astute buyers know the value of a good tenant and want to keep them in place and happy.
And with these investment buyers ready to go, you could save thousands on marketing, meaning it's a win-win.
There's a reason you see signs popping up everywhere saying sold by McGuire again. Visit McGuire.com.au.
I like to call it a passion. I can be sitting relaxing. I'm spending this holiday locked in. Back then wasn't worried about me though. In the gym trying to work on my free throw. What's poppin'? Brand new whip, just hopped in.
The new Kia Seltos. That's what's poppin'. And yeah, it's got options. The new Kia Seltos. The word is out.
Brand new whip, just hopped in.
Kia. Movement that inspires.
Heard the phrase milk is milk? Not true. When you choose Pura, you choose Aussie-owned, locally made milk. Partnering with farming families in South Australia. Choose Aussie-owned. Choose Pura. Now with lactose-free.
Rosanna Mangiarelli here from 7 News. Join me and Will Goodings for Adelaide's leading news hour, 7 News, tonight at 6 o'clock.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Know someone finishing school and looking for an apprenticeship or a traineeship? Visit maxima.com.au.
25 after 7. First time we've ever played a song in full before 7 o'clock this morning with the Beatles track. After 8 o'clock today, we're going to do something else that's never happened before in the history of the 5AA studio, I suspect. Maybe radio anywhere. It's time for us to exercise some demons. And we're going to do that quite literally.
Max von Sydow.
After 8 o'clock. Make sure you're listening. Max von Sydow, you say?
The power of Christ compels you!
You're going to want to stick around after 8 because we're haunted in here and we're going to change that very, very soon.
I can't believe you got the audio of that.
Let's talk sport. $19 schnitty Monday to Wednesday at the Birkenhead Tavern, Excelsior and Lighthouse Wharf. If you just know, it's a Barrow Hotel.
And speaking about report cards with distinctions, here's Ginnivan.
Tim Ginnivan on 5AA Breakfast.
Timmy G!
Timmy, good morning to you, mate.
Timmy,
yeah.
Hey, Tim. Timmy G.
How are you? You there?
Good, mate. Seamless.
We've got
Beautiful.
you there, Timmy. You sad about there being no more Maggies in the near future?
Look, no, not really. For me, and I told Rowie this last night, if you go back to the history of it, we were part of, and when I say we, the team that I was playing in those early 90s, we were part of what I called the crusade to get the second licence into the AFL. And, that was so that we could be playing in the best competition that was in Australia. So when we got that licence, we all rejoiced and we thought, well, okay, when are we going to get in the competition? Because there was the Fitzroy issue, whether they were going to survive or not. And so by the end of 96, we've been told, yes, we're going into the AFL. Well, all of us guys started, and I say us, they're older guys that have been around for donkeys. We all knew we weren't going to be a part of that AFL side. So we started talking about where we're going to play next year. And we were talking about, do we all go to one amateur club and play together there, or do we just retire or go and take up some other sport? So we just thought, that's it. We've elevated ourselves into the AFL. See you later. Well, the last minute change was, by the way, you need to stay in the SNFL as well, but you can't be together. You've got to be separate. And next minute, we were down at Ethelton. So it was a really, what would you say, a last minute surprise and shock to us. And then I just thought to myself, and in hindsight, I interviewed Brian Cunningham, that you spoke to yesterday, and said, Brian, was that a shock to you? He said, yeah, it was. I said, what did you do? He said, well, we went away, spent half an hour on a business plan, brought it back, and it was accepted. And I said, how long did you think it would last? He said about 3 years.
Yeah.
And the issue with that was, because I was saying this on air last night, was there was no income in that model. So it was never going to survive. So what they thought, well, Brian thought it would last 3 years, but what they had underestimated was the emotional equity that's in the Guernsey. And that every time that we, in the SANFL, didn't have money, the fans would come running and say, right, let's keep it alive. That then ripped membership and other sponsorship dollars out of the power, and it was this cannibalisation that was happening for 14 years until we got it all underneath one banner, and that's when the 2014 competition happened, where the Adelaide Crows came in as well. But then you had a competition where you've got 8 teams on one agenda and you've got 2 teams on another agenda. So it's always been very, what I would say, muddied waters for everybody. And so as much as I absolutely love and cherish that Guernsey that I played in, I understood that we were elevating ourselves to another level.
Geez, that would have been a hell of an amateur league club that you went to.
You would have wanted to come up against the Seaton Ramblers that year.
Yeah, I think we just won 3 in a row, so it would have been all right.
Pretty solid, I reckon. Hey, good on you, Timmy.
Cheers, Tim.
See you guys.
And speaking about report cards with distinctions, here's Ginnivan.
Tim Ginnivan on 5AA Breakfast.
$19 schnitty Monday to Wednesday at the Birkenhead Tavern, Excelsior and Lighthouse Wharf. You just know it's a Barrow Hotel.
It's time to open up a world of savings with Seniors Card. Members can enjoy discounts and deals on products and services from hundreds of businesses all over the state. Seniors Card is celebrating 30 years of helping older South Australians enjoy life and age well. Find discounts and deals at seniorscard.sa.gov.au. That's seniorscard.sa.gov.au, or get a discounts and deals directory from your library or council.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube.
This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Partly cloudy today and a top of 23 with the 7:30 news. I'm Mel Usher.
Keep your body in shape with Physio Extra clinical Pilates and group exercise classes. PhysioExtra.com.
Public school teachers are set to walk off the job next Thursday during Year 12 exams, but David Bruce says negotiations over their pay stoush are continuing.
The Teachers' Union says its members have voted in favour of an all-day strike on Thursday, giving the state government until Monday to come up with a reasonable offer on pay and conditions. The government recently made an offer of an extra 3% per year for the next 3 years, as well as other sweeteners. But teachers don't think that's good enough. The union is pushing for between 5.5% and 8.6% per year until 2026, as well as time off for lesson planning and administration. If the strike does go ahead, schools may have to shut for the day or operate with limited programs. The union's executive will meet to discuss any government offer on Monday.
The hunt is continuing for the vehicle and the persons involved in a ram raid at Hampstead Gardens in the early hours of this morning. The cash converters on North East Road was hit around 3 a.m. Senior Constable Kate Dawson says CCTV footage has helped identify the offenders.
They identified that a stolen Ford Transit van had been used to smash in the front roller door to gain entry. There was a number of occupants of that vehicle and they were seen to enter the store before then leaving again a short time later in the van.
A house fire at North Adelaide is under investigation. Crystal Mitchell from the MFS says the alarm was raised on Francis Street West around 7:30 last night.
The fire started in the kitchen and the cause is being investigated. Damage is estimated at $150,000.
The occupant evacuated safely. Erin Patterson, the woman accused of serving up a deadly lunch in Victoria, will face court today. Isabella Stokowski has more.
This investigation is far from over. The charges overnight are really the next step in what has been described by police as a complex, methodical and thorough investigation thus far, with toxicology reports yet to confirm what police have long believed, that the deaths were caused by the consumption of death cap mushrooms. It was 8 a.m. yesterday when Erin Patterson was arrested at her Leongatha home. What ensued was a major police search of her property, interestingly including AFP technology dogs. They can find things like phones, concealed SIM cards and USBs. Victoria Police has acknowledged that due to the attention to this case, many people will have unanswered questions, but is asking people not to speculate or share misinformation. This will impact small communities for years to come.
A treat for music fans today, a new Beatles song. Now and Then started as a John Lennon demo in the 70s and has been worked on over the past 25 years by the other three. Ringo says it's a special event.
What a great week, everybody. Now and Then. The last Beatles track ever. It's so great. The beat goes on. Peace and love. The beat goes on. Peace and love.
And Kylie Minogue kicks off her Las Vegas residency this weekend. She's performing select dates until mid-2024 at the Voltaire Theatre at the Venetian. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
There's plenty of stock ready for immediate delivery on Mitsubishi Triton from Agostino Mitsubishi, Nailsworth and Elizabeth.
It's over to Tom Wren.
Thank you, Mel. Port Adelaide General Manager of Footy, Chris Davies, thinks it's time the AFL moved towards a national reserves competition. As it stands, 14 of the 18 AFL clubs play in a reserves comp, while Port Adelaide, the Crows, Fremantle and West Coast exist outside of that. Davies telling Rowie and Timmy G it's something that's not sustainable long term.
Our perspective is that the AFL should be looking at a solution that exists nationally so that we've got, as I say, some parity with the Eastern Seaboard clubs. It's just impossible to think that in today's day and age that if this competition was started, that we would have the second-tier structure that we actually have at the moment.
Meantime, Erin Phillips is preparing for her final game. That will be tomorrow against GWS, a big crowd expected at Alberton. Well, Australian all-rounder Marcus Stoinis has declared himself fit for the game against England in tomorrow's World Cup clash. He will likely be needed with Mitch Marsh returning home for personal reasons and Glenn Maxwell out with concussion. Stoinis says he won't be holding back after recovering from a calf complaint.
How many overs could you bowl in a game if you were asked? Could you bowl the full 10?
Yeah. My plan's to just go hard now, go out there and then whatever happens, happens really.
Yeah, love that. India, meantime, has destroyed Sri Lanka by 302 runs overnight in Mumbai. And some golf news to finish. Aussie Cam Percy's off to a flying start at a PGA event in Mexico. The 49-year-old is currently 8 under through 11 holes, putting him in a share of the lead. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Reimagine your home, elevate your life at 88 O'Connell Street Luxury Apartments. See 88o'connell.com.
In Hindmarsh, a car fire on Port Road near Adams Street, a breakdown at Dry Creek on the Salisbury Highway near the Wingfield interchange. Road plates are in use at Medindi due to a loose pit lid on Roper Terrace near Medindi Road. Burst water main at Salisbury East on McIntyre Road near Peacock Road. The left-hand lane is closed and speeds are at 40 outbound. Same restrictions in place at Melrose Park for a manhole that's caved in on South Road just before Dawes Road. Checky Speed Quick Road, Mitchell Park. Think Subway footlongs can't get bigger? Order a footlong sub on the Subway app for a chance to win a giant inflatable footlong today only. T's and C's apply at subway.com. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
The 5AA forecast, 23 today and partly cloudy, sunny tomorrow 23, Sunday sunny up to 25 and Monday still sunny 27. Right now it's 13 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Mate, this meat is so good. Where's it from?
Thomas Farms. It's always good.
Even the prawns? You must have gone to the markets.
No, Thomas Farms have everything. From seafood, chicken, lamb, even award-winning Angus beef. They have it all, and it's very reasonably priced.
Thomas Farms is owned by a South Australian farming family. They understand great food. Located at Castle Plaza, Colonnades, Cavan, West Lakes and now at Norwood Mall, The Parade. Mention this radio ad for an additional 10% off until December 31st. Thomas Farms. It's always good.
When is a good time to organise a new roof, outdoor blinds, roller shutters or gutters? Well, any time with Focus Home Improvements. You see, Dave from Focus, well, he's newly separated, so Dave has plenty of time on his hands. Call day or night, anytime. If he doesn't answer, just leave a message, unless you're his ex. For Dave's number, visit focushomeimprovements.com.au. Thanks, Dave. Oh, actually, my sister's single now, so maybe...
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Know someone finishing school and looking for an apprenticeship or a traineeship? Visit maxima.com.au.
22 to 8, John Blake coming up before 8 o'clock. After 8, the spectacle, the likes of which you've never seen. And frankly, I'm sure the police commissioner is glad he's in the studio now as opposed to immediately following what's going to take place after 8 o'clock, because there's some demons in the studio and they're going to be exercised. That's not too far away. If you are watching on the Foodland Supermarkets Facebook and YouTube live stream and you're amongst our eagle-eyed listeners, you'll note that the police commissioner hasn't just missed a shave this morning. He is in here with... How many days are we into Movember now?
So what is it, the 3rd?
Third.
3rd of November.
So you've come along. This is day 3 of no shaving?
Yes, I shaved at about 7 o'clock on the 1st of November, 7 o'clock in the morning.
So 3 days.
Because I didn't know I was going to be involved this year, to be honest with you. So I made the mistake of going to the Movember launch, and there was a fair bit of pressure put on me. So
right,
here I am.
So you got roped into it on the spot.
Yeah, it was.
So 3 days in, as cheap as Cold Chisel said, cheap wine and a 3-day growth.
Yeah, well, I did have to tell my wife that I'm actually growing a moustache, and she hasn't noticed yet. So I defy any of your listeners looking on the live stream to pick anything.
Well, with your blonde hair, it doesn't show up that much
blonde.
yet.
You're very generous with the blonde reference. Yeah, thanks.
Good on you for not going down the Rogaine path.
I'm guessing when you started out in the police force, there were a lot more moustaches than there are now.
Yeah, there were a few. Yeah. It's a sort of a common factor between porn stars and police officers. It's the thick moustache. So, yeah.
So have you worked out what type of moustache you're going for, Commissioner?
Whatever I can produce.
Emiliano Zapata, Merv Hughes?
No, I'll just go for anything that is barely visible. Like in all seriousness, if I come back in 27 days' time, I don't think you'll notice too much difference. So. But it is a good cause, and if I can help out by being a part of it, then I'm happy to do it.
It's a great cause, and what's more, people can donate at movember.com.au to you and you raising. But you're doing this excellent thing too, where you're giving people the opportunity to win a sort of a behind-the-scenes look at the different aspects of the police force.
Absolutely. Well, I think it's because of the lack of motivation, forgive the pun, to donate to my moustache-growing efforts that we thought we'd offer a day behind the scenes with SAPOL, where I'll host the highest bidder by 9 o'clock this morning on my donation page. They'll have a day looking at the various aspects of SAPOL that most people would not ordinarily get to see. Visit the horses and our dogs, our water operations, Star Force, the academy, our all sorts of different things that you just normally wouldn't get to see. Communication centre, the training village we have down at the academy, we'll be taking it right through everyone.
That'd be good. That'd be
the only thing I must say is criminals need not apply, but we'll take your money. We'll take your money. So we're encouraging people to donate through the morning till 9 o'clock this morning, and the highest donation will have the opportunity for themselves and 3 friends to come and have a look at what we do and how we do it.
That's an excellent cause.
Well, seeing the Star Group stuff, that's sort of a mysterious element of the police force. You hear about them in the news and see them, obviously, with all this stuff, but you don't get to know, most people wouldn't know much beyond them. I mean, how many Star Group officers are there?
I don't know the number off the top of my head, but several teams that have...
But it's not a lot of people, is it?
No, it's a discrete group. They're highly specialised, and within each team they have a specific specialisation.
Right.
So... there's a lot of search and rescue, our forced entry stuff, all that sort of thing. We've got the Bearcat that people can have a look at. Our bomb techs.
Excellent.
Our bomb techs will put on a bit of a show.
Didn't your predecessor Gary Burns work for the Starries?
He did. He was there for a long time as an operator and then as the officer in charge as well.
I've seen him in action. My very brief period as a police reporter when I was in my early 20s. I remember spending an entire night until about 8 o'clock in the morning watching them negotiating in a siege in Port Adelaide, and just the calmness. And this guy was armed. He was inside the house armed with a hostage, and they were so incredibly calm going about their job. It was amazing. And we were standing in this alleyway watching it all.
Well, all police officers are pretty well trained, but our Star Group members, they take it to another level. Their job is to be prepared for whatever they might have to be sent in to deal with, so they are quite exceptional.
What are the rules these days around facial hair in the police force?
We've had a bit of a change a few months ago when we relaxed the restrictions on visible tattoos. So hair standards now, there is only one hair standard, that's neat and professional. And as for facial hair, as long as it's neat and professional, we don't have any particular requirements anymore. Used to be quite strict.
How big would the mo have to get before you started raising questions? Is it we talk like if someone rocks in with a Merv Hughes, are we at that level, or is it the David Boone? The Errol Flynn.
Well, we do have this one rule: neat and professional, and that's fairly subjective.
Yeah,
So, we'll pick and choose. We'll see which ones really offend us.
You'll end up looking like something out of the streets of San Francisco by the end of this. Or like Barge Ass. Remember him with the big?
Thanks for that. Yeah, that's my lifelong goal, was to be compared to Barge Ass. Thank you. Yeah.
You need a tweed.
There are
jacket.
a whole bunch of other cop shows like Tom Selleck, Magnum.
Magnum PI, of course.
Oh yeah,
but no, you've gone with Barge Ass. Thanks.
What about the big Serpico beard? Could you get away with the big Serpico beard?
I know my limitations. I've had a beard once in the last 30 years, and that's when one of my several bike accidents, and I was off work for about a month, and I didn't shave, and it was pretty disappointing. So,
well, good on you for doing it,
It's a great cause.
It's an excellent cause.
Look, it's all about men's health. It's about preventing testicular cancer, improving mental health for men, reducing suicide, and also prostate cancer amongst men. These are preventable issues for men that cause too many men to die too young. So I think it's an excellent cause, and whatever we can do to help, we will. So just encourage people to get on board, have a look at the Movember site, search for my name, and as I said, the highest donation this morning before 9 o'clock will win a day behind the scenes with SAPOL.
Movember.com.au and search for Grant Stevens, and that's Stevens.
That's the one.
Yeah, before 9 o'clock. It's going to be a great experience.
Absolutely. Now, we have taken photographs, so we'll do a before and after. So at the end of the month, we'll get you back in.
Yeah, I could take a daily photograph and just remind
That'd
myself
be good.
How pathetic it is.
Or put your forensics team to the test.
Get the microscope.
See if they can find any evidence of a moustache. That's superb. Commissioner, thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, well, thanks for your help.
All the
No,
best.
not at all.
Movember.com.au, search for Grant Stevens, and you could be the person who gets that incredible behind-the-scenes look at all the various elements of the police force and their various branches. It's coming up to 15 minutes to 8. Let's check traffic. Thanks to Keezer. If you're tired of back pain, time to try Keezer, KIESER.com.au.
In Hindmarsh, a car fire on Port Road near Adams Street, a breakdown at Dry Creek on the Salisbury Highway near the Wingfield interchange. Road plates are in use at Medindi due to a loose pit lid on Rope Terrace near Medindi Road. Burst water main at Salisbury East on McIntyre Road near Peacock Road. Got the left-hand lane closed there and speeds at 40 outbound. Same restrictions in place at Melrose Park for a manhole that's caved in on South Road just before Dawes Road. That's the sound of you enjoying a cool, rich tasting barista-made premium iced coffee from OTR. Get your delicious pick-me-up now at OTR. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
With help from Flurio Milk Company and the Udder Way, cafes all over Adelaide have joined the fight to reduce plastic waste. Instead of single-use plastic bottles, they've introduced the Udder Way's reusable 18-litre kegs. In the initial week, they stand to eliminate 1,500 plastic bottles. Together with other cafes, supermarkets, schools, restaurants, hotels and workplaces, millions of single-use plastic bottles will be taken out of circulation. You gotta feel good about that. Visit fleuriomilkco.com.au for more.
At Coles, there's great value hands down across fruit and veg this week. Like sweet 100% Aussie raspberries, just $5 for a 125-gram punnet. Get great value hands down at Coles. Offer ends Tuesday.
Now, if you haven't secured somewhere to soak up the Melbourne Cup festivities this coming Tuesday, book yourself into 11 Restaurant and Piazza.
Surrounded by greenery and city lights, 11 offers a cosmopolitan experience inspired by the rooftops of New York and laneways of Paris. The perfect place to enjoy a relaxing lunch followed by drinks in the city sun. There are limited tickets remaining, but the team at 11 has given us 3 double passes to give away this week.
So keep listening for your chance to win some of the hottest tickets in town this Melbourne Cup. And if you haven't booked your table yet, well, there are still some places available, but you've got to be quick. Jump online at 11adl.com.au today.
Enjoy 4 courses and a 3-hour premium beverage package, including Bollinger champagne, big screens and DJs. Don't wait. Book now at 11adl.com.au.
You don't have to jump on a plane to find pals from around the world, or even leave the airport. Parafield Airport Liquor Store has thousands of pals in a huge old airport hangar. So maybe their pals are whiskies from Scotland, Ireland and Japan, but that's just some of their pals. With over 300 craft beers, 500 whiskies and over 2,000 wines. New pals from around the world are closer than you think. Parafield Airport Liquor Store. Pals, next to Roulette's Tavern, Kings Road, Parafield.
This doesn't sound like a conference. This doesn't sound like a work trip. And this doesn't sound like team building. Because conferences and events sound different with Discovery Events. With amazing venues in special places across Australia, including Adelaide Hills, Victor Harbour, Nagambie Lakes, Rottnest Island and Byron Bay. Sound great? Visit discoveryevents.com.au, your destination for premier venues in unique locations across Australia.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Jobs, apprenticeships, traineeships and careers. Maxima can help. Learn more today at maxima.com.au.
12 to 8, John Blake coming up very shortly. It has been pointed out to us a number of times over the course of the last few weeks and frankly years that this program, and now we believe this studio, has an issue with football player retention. We've lost a couple.
More than a couple. We've lost almost every single person who's ever been on the show.
Well, when I say we lost, they don't just leave us, they leave the state.
This is the Bermuda Triangle for AFL stars.
Well, no more, because some people suggested we needed an intervention, and we're doing dramatic intervention after 8 o'clock. We're gonna make sure that this doesn't happen ever again. That's coming up. Stick around. It will be some sort of a spectacle. Mike has called in. Morning to you, Mike.
Hey, good. How are you guys?
Good, thanks, Mike.
Yeah, good. Look, listening to the debacle of teachers is quite stressful, especially for support workers that are currently contracted in schools. There's a lot of underlying behaviour that is not recognised and not brought to the table. It's got to be solved. If teachers want a better system and better pay and less stress, then support workers in schools need to be valued for their professionalism. We're all paraprofessionals. They need to be recognised, and we need to work as a community. Now, I've come from the education department for many, many years, and I've recently finished a contract based on the reason and based on the behaviours of not allowing to help other kids in schools. We're told not to enable. We're told not to assist. We're told not to help children that put their hand up in classrooms. We're told to sit back, don't help, don't scaffold, don't use your professionalism, just focus on the one child that you're funded for and let the community solve themselves.
This is as an SSO, you mean, Mike?
You bet.
Yeah.
And it's got to stop. It's got to stop. Most of us are trained to come into the school system. We complete a Cert 3 and Cert 4. Part of that Cert 3 and Cert 4 is to help scaffold, assist, to help the child regulate, to help the child understand what schooling looks like, without the support workers helping those kids. Because well-being people are busy, teachers are busy. Without us, the child cannot regulate. The student cannot regulate. The child does not understand. They're not developed to the age of 25. Our job is to help them understand what school feels like, what learning looks like, how it should feel, what they should be capable of. It's okay not to get things right. Most children have an emotional background now. That there's a lot going on with social media, with domestic violence, with life in general. We're there as support workers to help the teachers settle. However, the underlying issue is we are told to step back and let those that are not funded solve their own problems.
Yeah, no, good call, Mike.
Thank you, Mike. Good
the
text
SSO
here.
thing was part of it as well.
Yeah,
part of the
is.
dispute. Originally, the union was asking for an SSO in every class, which would have meant 6,000 new SSOs.
Good text here on the Duttons text line as well, from someone who didn't left their names. They said, I don't usually text or call in, but I feel I need to. You are so against teachers striking. However, what about the teachers that are there for the kids? I'm a mother of a very hard-working teacher who works in a primary school. The school day might end at 3:30 p.m. and class may start at 8:45, but she's there at 7 and still there at night when I walk past her room in the late evening, and then she'll be working on the week ahead or doing her marking. She's a class of 26 kids and teachers, year 5s and 6s. Most of these kids have learning disabilities and awards of the state. There are days she comes home hurt because she's been punched or slapped from troubled kids and has had tables overturned and items thrown across the room. But no one hears about this. Teachers are hard-working. My daughter chose not to strike on Thursday, and if it happens, I know exactly where I'll find her at her desk working and planning for the week ahead.
That's a great text.
Love the show. It's a great text. Well, those are the sorts of people we want in the system.
Yeah.
We want more of them. We want more teachers like your daughter, I think it was. It doesn't actually say the sex of the child, your child. And the problem is there are plenty of them being trained and plenty of them that will be that passionate. They can't get a job because there'll be someone who doesn't give half as much of an effort as that.
Well, conversely, this text from Adam, lads, my wife is a teacher. She's in the mid-30s. She works so hard. She's so much care about the kids and her job. There are too many dinosaurs hanging around the teaching scene on good money, bumping up their super under no pressure or scrutiny at all.
This isn't
we all know who's representing them to the hilt.
Well, who's representing the teachers that work hard?
Yeah. I think what's interesting is how many teachers have contacted us, or partners or parents of teachers, like that message saying that they are not striking or they voted not to strike. And the first text we got from right way back at the very start of the show from Simon in Seaford, saying that the number of teachers who voted against strike action this time was much higher than the first time. See, I'm not against striking as a matter of general principle.
No.
There are times where it's the only way to make your point. But the stupidity and selfishness of doing it in the middle of Year 12 exams, I almost think the AEU, they're so militant that they actually... Remember, was it in 2019, their little bunged on that stupid stunt when they were having a blue with the Marshall government, where they said that if parents wanted to attend the Christmas plays that their kids were doing, they would have to take the day off work because they decided that the Christmas plays
wouldn't be happy out of hours.
Wouldn't be out of hours.
I remember that.
Do you reckon they'd do that on Harmony Day? Well, I just thought that was such a classic AEU thing where, sort of PC anti-Christmas nonsense and something that's clearly going to inflame mainstream opinion. But they're off in their own mad orbit with all these clapped out old hippies sitting in a room together in Green Hill Road thinking, yeah, this will really subvert the dominant paradigm. They need some PR advice.
It's time for John Blake, thanks to Aussie Fast Transport Solutions, interstate freight distribution, warehousing and local Adelaide couriers. Call Aussie Fast, 13 13 64.
Yes, good morning. The big football news this week is that Erin Phillips is retiring from footy. People are saying now they should name an award after her or put up a statue or something. She'll be remembered as one of the pioneers of the ladies' game, and it's going to make her sick when she looks back in 50 years and sees what sort of money the girls are making then.
She's in the limelight. Sport was in her blood right from the start. Football just felt right, but girls were not permitted to take part. It was a dream. She had to wait for years till it was set up. Get on a team, then lead that team and join the one that's right. Teal, black and white. Erin Phillips, Phillips now. She thought it's time to hang up all her boots. The time is right for Erin Phillips, Phillips now. They're talking about maybe now they'll put up a statue.
Darkness falls upon the land, and people cry in the grandstand. For Erin Phillips won't run on the ground and kick more goals in a showdown.
Yeah, I don't know why he's laughing. May not be a fan of the women's game. Also this week, still football, and the Crows are now battling a handful of people who don't want a couple of trees chopped down at their new Theberton Oval headquarters. Cheese. A few trees.
Last night John Olsen didn't sleep well.
Can we get it done?
The Crows still aren't at Theberton Oval.
Come on.
Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. These trees, we don't care, a chainsaw to do.
3 trees.
All the residents complaining, not that many trees remaining. Shut up, please shut up. I'm not scared of NIMBYs, I would gladly go and chop them for you. Oh yeah, the least that I can do. Why do they always scream and whinge and moan? Some trees were chopped down for their own home.
Come on, come on, come on.
Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. These trees, we don't care, a big boo-hoo. We don't care, a big boo-hoo. We don't care, a big boo-hoo.
3 trees. Can we get it done?
Indeed. Second new Beatles song for the day.
Exactly right.
Blakey.
Coming up after 8 o'clock this morning, Eddie McGuire will join us ahead of the Melbourne Cup Feedback Friday, and next we are going to exercise the demons of the FIVEAA Breakfast Studio.
I know
and show.
I know Eddie's coming on about the Melbourne Cup. I think we're duty bound to ask him how he feels about the fact that the prison bar's jumper looks like it's going to be retired forevermore.
He'll be shattered, I'm sure. That's coming up. Hey, you've got an hour left to donate to Grant Stevens as well for Movember, movember.com.au, and be in the running to win that behind-the-scenes tour of all things SAPOL. You'll see stuff that no one else gets to.
Do you get to deploy the staff force? Like
Absolutely.
Just as a joke? Send them around to one of your mates' houses or something?
There's someone you don't like. You want them to go around there? Just send a message. I'm pretty sure that's part of the package.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Don't you?
No, I don't think you get to play good cop, bad cop either.
Can you...
Like interrogate a witness or anything
can't
like
you?
that? No.
What about the horses? Can you send them around to intimidate someone? Do a bit of crowd control.
Maybe you can find a new location for the horses.
That's impossible, David. Don't be silly.
What, you mean finding a new one?
That's right.
Because every single location has been looked at.
Yeah, someone will be upset. Movember.com.au, search for Grant Stevens and donate before 9 o'clock.
Heard the phrase milk is milk?
Not true. When you choose Pura, you choose Aussie-owned, locally made milk. We proudly partner with over 20 farming families and have been part of the local community here in South Australia for over 30 years. Taste the difference that passion, quality and care makes to the milk that you drink. Choose Aussie-owned. Choose Pura. Now with lactose-free.
Set sail with up to 40% off every guest on every sailing with Celebrity Cruises and Phil Hoffman Travel. Unwind on pristine beaches in the South Pacific. Excite your inner explorer in Australia and New Zealand, or get a fresh perspective on the old world in Europe. Stunning accommodation, world-class cuisine and endless amounts of entertainment are all part of the journey with Celebrity Cruises. Hurry, offer ends November 9. Contact Phil Hoffman Travel or visit pht.com.au.
Join us for a week of birthday celebrations at 40 Winks. Head in-store and save 50% off mattresses and 30% off furniture. Exclusions and T's and C's apply. Hurry, our birthday sale ends this Sunday. 40 Winks. Serious about sleep.
Online, on DAB Digital Radio and on 1395 AM. Talking Adelaide. This is Adelaide's FIVEAA.
Partly cloudy today and a top of 23. With the 8 o'clock news, I'm Mel Usher.
Hydrotherapy at Physio Extra Marion has individual sessions and classes claimable on private health and NDIS.
A man with a machete has held up a hotel at Ingle Farm. Senior Constable Kate Dawson says he entered the gaming room on Montague Road shortly before midnight and threatened staff.
He stole a large amount of money before leaving the area on foot and was last seen heading towards Rupina Street. So fortunately no one was physically injured as a result of the incident.
And a stolen vehicle has been used in a ram raid at Hampstead Gardens. The cash converters on North East Road targeted around 3 a.m. A Ford Transit van was used in the smash and grab. The hunt for the vehicle and offenders continues. Teachers are pushing ahead with strike action during Year 12 exams. Next Thursday has been earmarked unless the state government comes back with a better deal. They have until Monday to revise their pay offer. For the second consecutive month, South Australia is leading the nation in export growth. Latest ABS data shows SA grew 14%, well ahead of the nation's 2.5%. Trade and Investment Minister Nick Champion says India is a major destination.
We've seen India really rise up 11% to $1.1 billion, and that's really on the back of our farmers really exporting huge amounts of lentils, up 231%, almonds up 770%, and a real spike in beans as well, up to 1,600%.
Work is continuing to secure the safe exit of at least 65 Australians still stranded in Gaza. Michael Packey has more.
The Albanese government says it's relieved 20 citizens have been able to make their way over the border from Gaza to Egypt. They were joined by 2 family members of the group and a permanent Australian resident. Mona is among those fortunate enough to escape the conflict zone, but has told Sky News she's leaving family behind.
The situation is terrible there. It's very, very bad.
Another 65 Australians registered with Foreign Affairs remain stranded in the Palestinian territory. Foreign Minister Penny Wong says everything possible is being done to get them out.
It's taken a broad international effort to get border crossing open.
Australia has echoed the US sentiment that Israel pause its military operation in Gaza over humanitarian concerns.
Well, the Beatles are back on top of the charts. The final single from the Fab Four, Now and Then, was released overnight. It's a John Lennon demo from the 1970s, which the remaining members started working on in the 1990s. But Paul and Ringo decided to finish it with new technology, allowing Lennon's vocal to be cleaned up. George Harrison is on there as well.
And now and then.
William Shakespeare, in a speech from A Midsummer Night's Dream, has been sent into space in a weather balloon. It's to mark the 400th anniversary of his first collected works. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
There's plenty of stock ready for immediate delivery on Mitsubishi Triton from Agostino Mitsubishi, Nailsworth and Elizabeth.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Mel. Port Adelaide's Erin Phillips will have a light training session today ahead of her final game at Alberton tomorrow. The Power take on GWS in what will be her 66th and final game in the AFLW. Let's go to cricket, and India has again flexed its muscle at the World Cup with a brutal 302-run demolition of Sri Lanka in Mumbai. The hosts made 8 for 357 from their 50 overs, with Shubman Gill, Virat Kohli and Shreyas Iyer all impressing with half-centuries, but they then destroyed the Sri Lankan batting with the side all out for just 55. Action continues tonight with Afghanistan looking to keep its semi-final hopes alive with a match against the Netherlands, while Australia plays against England tomorrow night. Well, Adelaide United's players will head to Melbourne today ahead of tomorrow night's grudge match against the Victory. The Reds and Victory are the only sides yet to drop any points this season. Australian Formula One driver Daniel Ricciardo can't wait to get back in his AlphaTauri after his 7th place finish in Mexico. Ahead of this weekend's Brazilian Grand Prix, Ricciardo says it's been years since he felt this good in a car.
It wasn't like every weekend at McLaren was bad. There were some which were good, but yeah, I'd probably have to go back to more, like 2021.
Yeah, it's exciting stuff. Aussie Alex de Minaur is through to the quarterfinals of the Paris Masters after his opponent, Yannick Sinner, withdrew before the match because of his incredibly late finish the match before and therefore quick turnaround. And the Texas Rangers are World Series champions for the very first time in their 63-year history after a 5-0 win against the Arizona Diamondbacks, which means they won the best-of-7 series 4-1. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Reimagine your home, elevate your life at 88 O'Connell Street Luxury Apartments. See 88o'connell.com.
In Dry Creek, a breakdown on the Salisbury Highway near the Wingfield interchange. Road plates are in use at Medindi. That's due to a loose pit lid on Rope Terrace near Medindi Road. Burst water main at Salisbury East on McIntyre Road near Peacock Road. The left-hand lane is closed there and speeds at 40 outbound. And a manhole was caved in on South Road just before Dawes Road at Melrose Park. IGA, the place for savings on Gatorade or Gatorade G Active 600ml, only $1.97 each. That's half price. Don't miss out. Offer ends November 7 while stocks last. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
The 5AA forecast, partly cloudy today, heading for a top of 23, the same tomorrow. Sunday, sunny 25, Monday 27. Right now it's 15 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Breaking a windscreen, look, it's not sexy, it's unexciting and simply not fun. Can also be costly. At Complete Windscreens, we get it. All you want is same-day service at the best price and quality guaranteed. For near 50 years, this SA-owned and operated Autoglass company has serviced your needs. Whether it's tinting, chip repair, calibration, supply and fit or glass cutting, we are there for you. 220 Main North Road Prospect, the big red koala out the front, completewindscreens.com.au.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Jobs, apprenticeships, traineeships and careers. Maxima can help. Learn more today at maxima.com.au.
8 after 8, Eddie McGuire is coming up this half hour on the program. Then after 8:30, of course, it's a Friday morning. We're getting your feedback. And in exchange, you're getting fish. Feedback Friday. Coming up after 8:30, it's almost biblical because it's fish and meat on a Friday.
This is the place
we just need
to get
loaves.
fish.
We don't do loaves. Maybe that's something for next year.
We won't leave you floundering.
No. Magnificent work.
Oh, thank you.
The meat trays will be given away before 9 o'clock. But today it's specifically about people to participate in the Christmas pageant. We've had people that have been in 60-plus Christmas pageants. Quite extraordinary participation.
We've had a lot of people who used to sell bras and corsets at John Martin's on the phone as well.
Disturbingly more than have ever been in a Christmas pageant. I don't know how big that department was at John Martin's, but it was clearly enormous.
Ray from North Haven and then Jane from Northfield talking about her Auntie Gladys. Not sure if Auntie Gladys is still with us. Big shout out to Auntie Gladys.
She left a big impact.
Maybe there's a way we could get in touch with Auntie Gladys this morning.
Well, quite possibly. We and by that I mean you, our listeners, have identified that we have a problem. We have a problem on this program. It's been this thing of mirth, and this year it went beyond that and became a fully fledged issue for the show. So much so, we've had to ask ourselves some pretty dramatic questions like, should we ever have AFL footballers on our program ever again? Some people have suggested footballers they'd like us to have on so they might disappear permanently. Others have suggested that we should stay away from their favourite team. The record speaks for itself.
Just an absolutely brilliant effort against the Bulldogs.
Well, we were pretty excited to win. Might surprise you.
After months of speculation, the Crows officially let the cat out of the bag this afternoon, saying Dangerfield's exercised his free agency rights so he can return home to Victoria, most likely to Geelong.
You are the biggest story in football in this town right now, and everybody does want us to ask the question as to whether you're staying or whether you do have a decision to make.
But I can let everyone out there know that I'm not delisted. I'm still at the Crows and I'm contracted to 2020.
Betsy spoke a short time ago, and coming back home to Carlton, the club, certainly of his choice.
Have you settled on a decision? You obviously announce these things in your own time, but in your own mind, are you clear on what you want to do next year?
Yeah, so haven't settled on a decision per se because that stuff's still figuring itself out. But yeah, the idea has always been to stay at Adelaide.
Crows have received an end of first round compensation pick for the departing Tom Doedee. The defender signed with Brisbane on a 5-year deal, and Adelaide opted not to match the offer on the restricted free agent.
Compartmentalise that and say, I'll deal with that when I have to deal with it, or are you always working through it and thinking, I'm going to be in Adelaide, I'm going to be here, I'm going to be there? Are you working through it at the moment?
No, I think I've been pretty clear to my manager where I want to stay.
Yep.
And I'm just trying to focus on playing.
First to some breaking AFL news, and Port Adelaide's Orazio Fantasia is set to join Carlton on a 2-year deal.
Oh dear, we're not proud. It's hard to listen back to.
Well, I mean, you got genuinely two of the all-time greatest AFL players of all time there, in Eddie Betts and Patrick Dangerfield, and two of the all-time greatest blokes of all time, Tom Doedee and Orazio Fantasia, who we became really good personal friends with. All gone.
So we can't help but feel like we need to do something to address the problem. We're doing that here and now. If you're watching along on the Foodland at Supermarkets Facebook and YouTube live stream, you'll know we've been joined in the studio by a very special guest, 5AA's own psychic medium Liz McCaskill, who's been on the program before, who we've appreciated. And we've seen, Sam Datto pointed this out, if you've ever watched Selling Houses Australia, you know, Liz has been called in previously to exorcise some ghosts from haunted properties, make them safe so people want to go there and live. We figure we are either cursed, Liz, there is some kind of ghost that's driving footballers away from the program.
A malignant force.
Yeah, there's some supernatural being, or there's something going on that means they keep leaving us. How do you go about diagnosing a problem like this, Liz, when you get called into a property where people say there's something a bit wrong here?
Well, I think you've got a serious problem.
You're right about
checked
that.
the place out. I just don't know if it's the football or the energies. But normally most people, I've bought my little bag of goody tricks here.
Okay.
So normally most people will sage their house. So you could either do it two ways. You could do it smoking with sage, which most people do, and that gets rid of any lot of negative energies or evil spirits, or that. It helps put balance back into your place, your home, your workplace.
So is it just like common sage
that
you grow in the
sage.
backyard?
Yeah.
Sounds like we need some of that, I reckon.
I'm not sure if you can grow it as well in the backyard, but
okay.
But it's a sort of special, like Native American Indians use it and stuff like that. But it tends to be very smoky. I haven't pressed it open because otherwise, if I do that when I light it, like the whole place.
We don't want to burn the place down.
Yeah, and I bought, if all fails, I bought in my holy water.
Oh, good.
Wow.
Yeah.
Would you need to
Where do you
apply
get
that?
holy water from? Is that's like
From the church.
It's been
from the church.
blessed.
Yeah, blessed by the priest. Yeah,
Wow.
they actually give it to me. So.
Do you need to spray that on the studio or on David and I as well? Because I'm afraid David might evaporate.
Struck by lightning.
Yeah, he might start melting. That'd be my
I'll go
concern.
full Linda Blair.
And I've also got.
Start crab walking around the studio.
You can get white sage that sprays, so we might spray the chairs and things like that.
Right.
And if all else fails, I've bought in the garlic.
Well, that's good.
Terrific.
And
so we'll
delicious.
leave that there. That will ward off the.
Okay.
I can't believe you can actually get holy water from the church.
Oh, if you're a special person, you can.
You need to know the right people.
Not what you know, who you know.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Some people say I work for God.
Well, yeah, you do. If I tell you what, if a footballer doesn't leave us next year,
that's right. Exactly.
Are we going to light the sage? Do we have a fire alarm in here?
I think it's been disabled.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Excellent.
Disabled, so.
It's been. Well, you know what? We're about to find out.
So I only light it a little bit, so it's not.
Yeah, okay,
sure.
So this is what you need.
This is a couple of firsts this morning. If you're watching on the Foodland Supermarkets live stream, first time we've played an entire song,
And you see.
and first time we've ever had a naked flame in the studio as well. So it's particularly exciting. So that's sage. So is the smoke sort of...
The smoke will cleanse
Right.
any negative energy and put balance and harmony back here.
Right.
But as you can see, like all the smoke's going everywhere, so there's obviously some sort of energy. Then when it's finished, it will sort of go like in a...
It'll just go up.
Can I ask you, Liz, can you detect a malignant force in the room? Is it the room, or is it Will and I?
No, it's not you guys. It's sort of... I mean, this building used to be an old pub many years ago.
Do you think something bad happened here?
Well, there has been a couple of murders before on it, so...
In this building?
Yeah, before it was. Yeah. Someone died of a heart attack, a man died of a heart attack, and a lady was killed here.
Do you ever feel any of that?
Yeah. A lot of the announcers that I've worked with have actually seen people, walking in the hallways and things like that. This is the mid-dawn hours and things like that.
I saw some things.
Yeah, yeah.
I
yeah,
did.
Yeah.
That was Bob Francis.
Yes. Some of them were people just coming back to collect their car in the middle of the night. Crikey.
Yeah. So this should now, what I've just done this a little bit, should restore natural balance back into your...
This is going to be handy, because we're going to be able to send this video to, like, Connor Rosie and Jordan Dawson.
Yeah.
It's just I don't want to do too much to smoke you guys out for the rest of the day, so...
Somehow smoke finds its way in here occasionally.
Yeah.
Are we going to splash the holy water around as well?
Yeah, if you want to do
I'm looking
that.
forward to that. Maybe not in the equipment.
Yeah, I'll just butt that out, because I think we've had enough of...
Yeah, that's good.
Of that.
That's good. That's working well.
I might give that to you.
Yeah, give David the holy water. I just want to see what happens.
What if I start speaking in tongues? Or so should I just splash it somewhere else?
Yeah, normally you can go like that, or you just put it over.
Just use my little finger.
Yeah.
Or just put some over here.
Yeah. No, put it on mic 3 where they sit.
Yeah,
Yeah. Microphone 3. There
I think that's the issue.
That'll expunge whatever foul one exists in here.
Yeah, exactly
there
right.
We go. There we go. Mic 3 is cleansed.
Okay. So that's a safe space now. What about the garlic? Can we just distribute
Well, the garlic will just leave, or you can cut it and just put it, when
Right.
they come in next time and put it in, or you can just spray yourselves up the top there if you want to.
Beautiful.
Spray yourself, and that's a cleanser.
Excellent. This is the sage oil
on
my
the
head.
sage mist.
Sage mist.
Yeah, thank you. I'll mist
Smells
up.
good. It's lovely.
Okay.
So, Liz, have you done this privately for people who believe that their property, apart from the Selling Houses Australia performance?
Mainly, I've done it privately for people, but mainly I do it now for like historical places, Adelaide Jail and things like that.
There's a lot of deaths there with executions, weren't there?
Yeah, people always ask me where the most haunted places are, and like I'd say, the pubs.
Have you ever seen The Sixth Sense?
Yeah.
It's an amazing film, isn't it?
That's the only film. Normally I can work out what's going on. That film I never worked out.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Never.
Yeah, it was brilliantly executed, wasn't it?
It was really.
Well, Liz, we can't thank you enough.
That's all right. Thank you.
Having a professional in to try and exercise our demon or demons. It smells magnificent in the studio now.
It does.
It does. It will smell, and you'll feel lifted too.
I feel good.
Well.
The issue is, Liz, knowing that this will work. If a footballer leaves us now, we are left with no other conclusion to draw that other than David and I are the problem. So we've exhausted every other option now.
Well, it might be a better offer.
Oh, come on, Liz. Don't go getting all scientific on us.
I was going to say. Logic.
Yeah, well, it could be that, but I think it's probably a demon. Liz, thank you. Appreciate you coming in.
Good on you, Liz.
Absolutely
That was so much
work.
fun.
Stan in West Beach, Texas, saying Blakey will have a field day with this. Blakey's actually out. He's witnessing it live in the flesh.
He's watching it.
He's in the producer's booth.
I think Blakey needs Jesus.
Yeah, Blakey needs Jesus.
He needs something. That's for
Thank
sure.
you, Liz. All right, let's check traffic thanks to Keezer. You're tired of back pain? Try Keezer, KIESER.com.au.
In Parkside, a breakdown on Glen Osmond Road near Green Hill Road, also at Dry Creek on the Salisbury Highway near the Wingfield interchange. Road plates are in use at Medindi due to a loose pit lid on Rope Terrace near Medindi Road. Burst water main at Salisbury East, that's on McIntyre Road near Peacock Road. Left-hand lane is closed and speeds at 40 outbound. Same restrictions in place for a manhole that's caved in on South Road just before Dawes Road at Melrose Park. Think Subway footlongs can't get bigger? Order a footlong sub on the Subway app for a chance to win a giant inflatable footlong today only. T's and C's apply at subway.com. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
It's Ian Healy, and I'm here to talk to you about back pain and Keezer. If you're one of the 80% of Australians who suffer from back pain, it's tempting to do nothing. But this can cause weaknesses down the road. The best place to start with back pain is exercise. And the best place to exercise is Qantas. Qantas physios and Swiss-designed strength training equipment help you build strength in a supervised environment. I go to Qantas and you can too at our new clinic in Norwood. Book your initial assessment at qantas.com.au.
Every 2 years, if you're age 50 to 74, you'll get a blue and white package from the National Bowel Cancer Screening Program. It's your free bowel screening test kit, and it could save your life. Here's what to do. Take it to the bathroom and put it right where you can see it. Not in a drawer, but on the bench top or on the toilet seat or in the middle of the floor. So the next time you have to go, you'll remember to use it. Please don't put off the chance to save your life. Get to it. Visit bowelcancer.org.au for more information.
How to be excellent at entertaining. Have a quick panic clean, hide things in cupboards, close every door, light the candles, decanter the wine, and most importantly, make sure you're well stocked with a selection of Frederick Street finest.
Now, this is a great local business, and they're new. And I'm going to say, I had some of their, I haven't quite finished them yet, their salted pistachio nuts. Absolutely superb. Frederick Street Finest, the newest and most excellent way to treat yourself and others, whether you're at home, work, or entertaining.
Or maybe at the footy, because the first option here is apricot slice. There's also dark chocolate cranberries or Southern Ranch corn mix.
That'd go nice with a wooded Chardonnay. How about apricot delights, licorice lover's delight, cashew macadamia indulgence, or if, like me, you're not as big a sweet tooth, but you like the savoury stuff, beautiful dry roasted almonds. And then also the aforementioned pistachio nuts and honey roasted cashews.
There's literally a wall of Frederick Street Finest to choose from for every taste and every occasion. So look for Frederick Street Finest in the fancy blue packet at your local Drake's supermarket and be excellent anywhere with Frederick Street Finest, devoted to excellence.
Now at Harvey Norman, hot deals on electrical appliances plus bonus gift cards. Yes, get 10% of your purchase price in Harvey Norman gift cards when you spend $250 or more on selected electrical appliances. 10% in gift cards on selected small appliances, vacuums and coffee machines. 10% in gift cards on a huge range of fridges, laundry, aircon and cooking appliances. And 10% in gift cards on the latest TVs and soundbars. Hurry, this huge offer ends Sunday. 10% in gift cards now at Harvey Norman. Terms, conditions and exclusions apply. See store for details.
Rosanna Mangiarelli here from 7 News. Join me and Will Goodings for Adelaide's leading news hour, 7 News, tonight at 6 o'clock.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Know someone finishing school and looking for an apprenticeship or a traineeship? Visit maxima.com.au.
22 after 8, you think the year has flown. It's almost Melbourne Cup Day. This year, the 2023 Melbourne Cup Carnival will be live and free on 10 and 10 Play, hosted by our next guest, Eddie McGuire. Eddie, good morning to you, mate.
Hello, Will. G'day, David. How's things, mate?
Yeah, we're good, thanks, Eddie. How have you been, mate? Good to chat to you again.
Yeah, good. An amazing AFL season. Into the racing. Which one do you want to talk about first?
Well, let's talk about footy. I've got to say, we all hate Collingwood, but I find it really hard not to love this current side. And I reckon Darcy Moore, and I wrote a column about him a few weeks ago saying what he's done for men in Australia, showing that there's nothing wrong with being, openly intelligent and smart. The speeches that he gave on Anzac Day, Grand Final Day, he's an excellent role model for guys, I reckon.
Well, he could have done it in Indonesian as well. That's he studied Indonesian, speaks it reasonably fluently. His father, Peter, dual Brownlow medalist, but a highly intelligent guy. And yeah, it is. It's great to see him and people like Brody Grundy. These are guys who I'm close to. But Brody's finishing off his masters in business, and that type of person we need to bring through. But at the same time, I'm always conscious that what we have to make sure we don't lose is the working class kids who come through the battlers. I think we need to make sure that we don't funnel them in too quickly, and we don't want it to happen what happened with rugby union, and that is it becomes first of all a private school game, and then is dominated by even the Islander community. I love the fact that you can have a Darcy Moore and you can have Geordie De Goey with his tats and all the rest of it, and they can learn off each other and become great friends. And I think we're in pretty good shape in the AFL in that. I mean, there's always a couple of rats in the ranks, and there's always kids who'll fall off and go down the wrong path. But if we can save us more than we lose, we're going to be ahead.
Yeah. Just teasing out that comment there, Eddie, it sounds like that's a concern born of what we've seen in recent years, and we'll see no doubt with the national draft next month. just the vast number of kids now that are playing footy at the elite colleges. Not just a Melbourne phenomenon as well. It happens here in Adelaide. It's all the kids from the country and elsewhere.
It's great that kids get that opportunity. I mean, in America, you go to college. My son's doing that as we speak. But, we picked them up early, and, I've still got a couple of the younger kids from, country towns in South Australia, actually, and in Victoria. And I said, how many of you guys got picked up in the scholarships? And I said, two of us got picked up. I said, what were 3, 4 and 5 like? They said, it was line ball. And I said, what happened to them? They said, they went and got apprenticeships. They thought their time was, they'd missed out. So, we, in a competition that's going to need, another 50 players for Tassie soon enough, and if we go to a 20th, there's another 100 we're going to need. We need to be able to continue getting these kids. And I think what's great now is that the AFL, with all the money that's come in, we cut all the expenses out during COVID, never waste a crisis. And now with the TV money, the stadium money that's coming in, we've seen what's going on with Gather Round, just how exciting the marketing opportunities that continue to grow the game. That now there's a changeover in the AFL from Gill, who was so commercial, to keep the game going. I reckon for the first time we've actually got the opportunity and the money and the wherewithal to start focusing on what's best for football as opposed to keeping football alive. I think we can actually grow from here. So I'm pretty excited about the future, and Andrew Dillon, gets his chance, and he's already made some really good football appointments, and that's what we need to do. We need to keep the magic in the game. We can focus on everything else, but the bottom line is we need to give as many kids as the opportunity. That's why the women's game has been so magnificent in giving another 750 women a chance to play our game at the top level and be professional sports people.
I'm wondering, Eddie, do you know how many football clubs get around calling themselves the Magpies? Because there's going to be one fewer as of the Sandful in 12 months' time. The Port Adelaide Magpies will cease to exist. I imagine you'd be shattered to see the old prison bar jumper disappear from the local competition.
No, I barrack for the Port Magpies in the Sandful. It's just when they try to wear our jumper in the big games that I get fired up. No, that's fine. I mean, you guys forget easily, but back in the 90s when Port Power were trying to axe the Magpies, they didn't want anything to do with them. Collingwood went over and actually, I did a couple of fundraisers over there with them, and Collingwood were going to take them over and make them our team in the Sandful. At one stage, we were going to head off to the amateurs, if you remember back at that stage. But I can understand what Port Power and Port Magpies are doing as far as there needs to be a better setup with the reserves. Who knows? We might even go back to having seniors, reserves, and under-19s. That'd be a novel thought, wouldn't it?
Yeah, well, it's the way it is
we'll
in
go
the
back to the future. And to be honest, that's the point I was making about doing great things with footy. Now that they've got the money, go back, stop chopping things down. Let's grow the game. Let's make it exciting. Give as many kids the opportunity to play. Get people coaching. Build this industry into something that's fantastic.
Nad, you've been associated all your working life with Channel 9, but you're the star of Channel 10's Melbourne Cup coverage for the second time, I think it is.
The first 12 years was at Channel 10. They gave them a start.
Of course.
Yeah, station of origin for me.
That's right. Back to where it all began.
For 1 week only, I've been given the clearance from Channel 9, and then I'll be back to 9 again. But, so can I yell out to everybody in South Australia? The Melbourne Cup Carnival's on Channel 10. Channel 10, Channel 10, Channel 10, okay? People were getting confused because Seven have it for 51 weeks with the great Bruce McAvaney and the gang over there who do a sensational job. But over you come, and I've been out at the track. I've never seen Flemington look so unbelievable. The build-up, and Seven have done a great job with this, with the Caulfield Cup, the Moonee Valley last week, the Cox Plate, and the Everest up in Sydney with Peter Volandis has actually got racing going again. You know, we know the names of the horses. We know Gold Trip in the Melbourne Cup from last year. We know Without a Fight who won the Caulfield Cup. We know Vauban is the international raider this year. And I was actually over at Ascot in June and saw this horse win by 7.5 lengths, and it could have done another lap. So we've got absolute gun horses. You know, tomorrow we've got Chris Waller could well win the 3 big races. The Derby's got Riff Rocket. He won it last year with Manzoish. You've got the Coolmore, which he's won 5 times, and Shinzo's the second favourite. And then he's got the 2 favourites in the Empire Rose with the Tissue and Princess Grace. So we might have another magic day where an ornament, as we used to say, of racing, and Chris Waller could dominate the opening day of racing. But, everyone's trying, and that's what's great. Every race is a listed race, 3 Group 1s. It's just got everything going tomorrow. It's so exciting, and the fashions are back after COVID and all the dramas that have been happening. And I think, coming off the AFL season, we've seen the crowds, and I think Gather Round was just so exciting.
Oh, it's crazy.
I just thought it was unbelievable. And,
it'll be bigger next year. Like at the end of that weekend, Ed, I was getting texts from mates back in Sydney and that going, how can we come over next year? It's going to be so much bigger in 2024.
Oh, it is. And look, I think what's important, and I know the South Australian, the people involved in pulling all this together are doing a great job this year. So last year, everyone went, oh, yeah, let's have a look. And I went, oh, that's pleasantly surprised. This year, got to go again. And then in the next 2 years, and keep it in South Australia forever is where I want it to be. And I think this is, what you've been able to do with Live Golf in South Australia and the Gather Round and even the old Clipsaw, as it used to be called, those types of things, and building up, and the wine industry and the tourism that's going in South Australia. It's a really exciting place.
Far out, Ed. We're going to end up hiring you as an ambassador for South Australia. The whole world's turned on a crazy axis today.
I love the South Australia. I remember, I think, talking to you guys, I pushed hard for South Australia for Gather Round because I was lucky enough to be there at the 1988 Bicentennial Football Festival over 2 weeks. It was the best 2 weeks of my life. Michael Long was discovered. I think the South Australians got up and beat the Vicks in the final, and it was just fantastic. And I'm very big on, you've got to look after the people who are part of the fabric of the game, and South Australia plays such a big role. And it's the fight over the jumper thing. That's great because it's like cousins fighting with each other over something. But in the end, you get around. We're all the same thing. We all really respect. And I was lucky enough to come over and give the eulogy at Knuckles Curley's funeral this year, which was one of the greatest honours. And next Friday I'll be hosting Ron Barassi's memorial, and I hosted the E.J. Whitten's funeral, and to just even know these people and to be exposed to them, but then for them to give you, put the arm around you and invite you into the football family, and this week with the racing family. That's what sport's all about. And we can have to fight the battles along the journey, but there's a lot of fun to be had.
Yeah, 100%. Absolutely. Good on you, Ed. Looking forward to you being back over here for Gather Round next year, and indeed watching you as part of heading up Channel 10's coverage of the Melbourne Cup, live and free on 10 and 10 Play. 5AA News is coming up. Feedback Friday in a moment. Just 3 spots. Get calling now. 8223 0000 the number.
This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Partly cloudy today and 23 with the 8:30 news. I'm Mel Usher.
Keep your body in shape with Physio Extra clinical Pilates and group exercise classes. PhysioExtra.com.
A large amount of money has been stolen from a hotel at Ingle Farm. Senior Constable Kate Dawson says it happened shortly before midnight.
A man allegedly entered the gaming room of the hotel armed with a machete and threatened staff.
No one was physically injured. The hunt for the offender continues. We're being warned Australia has a long way to go to reach its ambitious net zero emissions targets. The Treasurer says governments and private industry must work together to hit net zero emissions by 2050. Experts warn we will fall short as reliable fossil fuels are switched off despite renewable energy sources not being ready. Nationals MP Keith Pitt says the biggest issue is cost.
And what will you get for it? Well, you'll feel good, but the cost of electricity will absolutely go through the roof. It'll become incredibly unreliable. Instead of getting the right outcome, which is slow this down, make sure you can manage the changes that they're proposing in a way that the Australian people can actually pay for it. Federal Labor government, they're just going to spend more of the taxpayers' money.
A woman accused of serving up a poisoned lunch to her in-laws has been charged with 3 counts of murder. Erin Patterson is accused of cooking a dish with death cap mushrooms in Victoria's Gippsland in July, which she denies. She's also been charged with 5 counts of attempted murder related to previous incidents. Criminal defence lawyer George Ballett says it will be a lengthy court process.
The typical murder case in the state of Victoria takes anywhere between 1 to 2 years to finalise by the time it reaches the Supreme Court for a trial, and a person remains in custody whilst all this happens unless the Supreme Court grants bail.
The Qantas board can expect a hostile reception when the airline holds its annual general meeting today. Clinton Maynard has more.
The Flying Kangaroo's reputation with passengers is at its lowest level. Poor on-time running, lost luggage, selling tickets on ghost flights and illegally sacking thousands of staff have all battered the airline's image. Former CEO Alan Joyce was forced to pack his bags early, and Chairman Richard Goyder is going as well, but not before appearing at today's AGM and seeking approval for big bonuses. Key shareholders are expected to vote against the company's remuneration report, meaning the final payment of more than $20 million for Mr Joyce is in doubt. There'll also be a vote for several board positions, including the high-profile Todd Sampson.
John, Paul, George and Ringo are back together on a brand new Beatles song. Now and Then was released overnight and is #1 on iTunes worldwide. Paul McCartney telling the BBC he got in touch with Ringo last year about finishing the Lennon demo.
So he put his drums on again, and then I thought, well, I could up the bass a bit, so I put the bass on again. We already had George playing guitar and we had John on vocal. It was kind of magical doing it.
And Chuck Norris is returning to the big screen in a tough guy role. Agent Recon will be his first action movie in more than a decade. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
There's plenty of stock ready for immediate delivery on Mitsubishi Triton from Agostino Mitsubishi, Nailsworth and Elizabeth.
Move over, Chuck Norris. I've got Tom Wren. What's happening in sport?
Exactly right. Who doesn't love Chuck Norris, eh? What a star. Talks are continuing, Mel, between the AFL and Port Adelaide. That's about the possibility of the Maggies breaking out of the SANFL competition. Now, they're currently locked into a contract with the SANFL that keeps them in there until at least 2028. Well, Glenn Maxwell is hoping to return to the Australian side in the closing stages of the round-robin stage of the One Day World Cup. The all-rounder was concussed after falling off the back of a golf cart and will miss tomorrow's game against England. Last night, India smashed Sri Lanka by 302 runs. Aussie tennis star Alex de Minaur is keeping his hopes alive of qualifying for the end-of-season ATP finals. The world number 13 has reached the quarterfinals at the Paris Masters after Yannick Sinner withdrew from their match. De Minaur says he's trying his best to just keep his focus on the court.
What I've done even before this week was just get that out of my head. Ultimately, it was in my head. It was everything that people were talking about in around Asia, and ultimately I just didn't perform.
Adelaide 36ers new recruit DJ Vasiljevic has come out firing in his first 3 games for the club. The former Sydney King sharpshooter led the way for the Sixers with a 24-point performance in a 12-point victory over the Breakers last Thursday. Sixers coach CJ Bruton telling Rowie and Timmy G Vasiljevic has bolstered the Sixers stocks on both ends of the floor.
CJ's added the added punch that we needed. His aggressiveness, his assertiveness, not only just on the offensive end, but also his effort on the defensive end is really standing out and obviously helping all our players lift to another level.
The Sixers will head to Perth today, ahead of tomorrow night's match against the Wildcats. And Aussie Cameron Percy is now the outright leader in the opening round of a PGA event in Mexico. He's currently 9 under through 14 holes. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Reimagine your home, elevate your life at 88 O'Connell Street Luxury Apartments. See 88o'connell.com.
Couple of breakdowns out there at the moment. One at Parkside on Glen Osmond Road near Green Hill Road. Dry Creek on the Salisbury Highway near the Wingfield interchange. Road plates are in use at Medindie due to a loose pit lid on Rope Terrace near Medindie Road. Burst water main at Salisbury East on McIntyre Road near Peacock Road. Left-hand lane is closed and speeds at 40 outbound. A manhole was caved in on South Road just before Dawes Road at Melrose Park. Road plates are in use and down to 40 outbound. Snooze great deals are on, like 50% off any mattress when you buy any base, bed frame or Snooze bedding pack. More great deals in-store and online. Hurry in today. Exclusions, T's and C's apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
5AA weather, 23 for your Friday and partly cloudy. Sunny tomorrow, 23. Sunday, sunny, 25. Monday, sunny, 27. Right now it is 15 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Thank you, Mel. We've got 2 more spots available for Feedback Friday. 8223 0000 is the number. There's $100 worth of Samtas seafood on the line, and it's as simple as 4 questions to which you can't get a wrong answer. 8223 0000. Next 2 callers through will participate in Feedback Friday.
Since 1982, our passionate teams at First National Real Estate have worked 10,400 days and around 582 million hours across Australia with one common goal: to always put you first. And we'll be here in Adelaide to help you on your journey to your happy place. Be it a tree change, a sea change, upsize, downsize, or finding that investment gem. First National Real Estate. We put you first. firstnational.com.au.
When my dad showed signs of dementia, I was there to help him, but I soon discovered there wasn't much information to help me. So I started Dementia Directions to help others keep loved ones with dementia at home for longer. Our in-home service provides information, advice on next steps and advocacy throughout the process, so you're never alone. And our service can be paid for with home care package funds pending approval. Search Dementia Directions or call us for a chat on 7078 3777.
It's easy to get behind the wheel of a new Mawson Lakes Volkswagen right now. In fact, it's ridiculously easy. All you need to do is head to the showroom on Salisbury Highway. Check out the range of new and demo Volkswagens on sale now, and then pick your favourite. How easy is that? All stock is ready for immediate delivery, with easy finance options available. And remember our next day servicing. Mawson Lakes Volkswagen, Salisbury Highway, just a short drive from the city.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Know someone finishing school and looking for an apprenticeship or a traineeship? Visit maxima.com.au.
20 to 9 behind closed doors is coming up shortly, but it's Friday morning.
Feedback. Friday today, so have you say feedback.
$100 worth of seafood up for grabs thanks to the great people of Samtas. And what we know about Samtas is that's $100 that goes a long, long way. Darren in Rosewater, the first caller through for Feedback Friday. Morning to you, Darren.
Hi, good morning, boys.
Darren, do you think it's time for Port Adelaide to leave the Sandful?
No, look, I'm an Alberton boy, really, and traditionally they are the SANFL. I mean, they've given so much to that competition, and so many players have come from the country areas, so I believe they're an integral part of it. A lot of people that don't like Port Adelaide, obviously, would differ with that opinion, but if they were to leave the competition, it would be a very, very sad day. And just recently, Russell Ebert, Jeff Motley, these absolute legends have passed away. And, it is an old pun, but they'd be turning in their grave to find out the power Port Adelaide would no longer be in the competition. So, no, I hope they stay there for many years to come. But, the writing's on the wall, I'm afraid.
It was that way. Yeah. Hey, Darren, are you going to the Christmas pageant tomorrow?
I won't be going. I have gone in the past, but no, I'll definitely watching on TV. It's a great local event, and it means that Christmas is here as far as I'm concerned. So,
absolutely.
I'll be watching it. Although I won't be there.
We spoke earlier in the week about the country town of Corn that doesn't have suitable drinking water. Do you have a water filter on your kitchen tap?
Yes, I do.
Is it? Have you got?
I feel sorry for those people, but one thing I didn't understand was they've put off for so long, and there's never been any intervention. And I don't know they can. Yeah, I don't know they can survive all those years without having intervention.
Yeah,
but it's probably a case of, as they say, the bush people tend to be forgotten about a fair bit of the time. So very sad.
Are the jacarandas flowering in your suburb, Darren? They're in Rosewater.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. I take the dog for a regular walk, and they're quite prevalent all around the area.
There's
I
a
like
lot
watching them
around Alberton Way. Yeah, beautiful.
Good on you, Darren. Thank you.
Great work.
Let's head to Steve in Goolwa. Steve, good morning.
Good morning, guys.
Steve, Erin Phillips has announced her retirement from AFLW with her final game this weekend. Do you think the next statue at Adelaide Oval should be one of Erin Phillips?
Yeah, I reckon. Why not? The first girl, and she's been a great player and person to support Port Adelaide, so I reckon it's a good idea. Why not?
Yeah, and beloved by both supporter bases,
100%.
both pros and Port Adelaide.
Do
you have a favourite Christmas float, Steve?
Probably the one with Santa on there. I used to take my kids and throw them down the front and stand back and watch them and watch your eyes, open wide when Santa goes past. So, the Santa float, and those people that run around, the clowns and all that, take my hat off to them.
Yeah, no, absolutely. A great day. Always exciting when you see Father Christmas.
Matthew Perry, who played Chandler in Friends, died on the weekend. Did you have a favourite Friends character?
I reckon Jennifer Aniston, because I'm a true blue Aussie boy, and she's hot.
Yep, she certainly is. She's a beautiful woman, that is for sure. Steve, Year 12 exams started this Monday with general mathematics. Would you pass or fail if you had to go back into a maths exam, do you think?
No, I was pretty good in what we used to call year 8, 9 and 10, and I went to year 11. And I got top of the class in primary school, but went downhill from there. So if I had to do year 11 or 12 maths, I wouldn't know. My son came up to me and said, "What's the minus square root of something?" And I said, "Go and ask your mother."
I'm with you, Steve. I was told I wasn't allowed to do maths in year 11 after I got 33%.
What year do you think you'd pass? Like, how many years do you have to go back to pass that year's maths grade?
I'd have to go back 2 years, I reckon. I have to go back. Well, I'd probably have to go back to, what do they call it now? Is it year 10? Is it still year 10?
Yeah, was that called intermediate in your day, Steve?
Yeah, I think it was. And then there was leaving
and leaving
matric.
honours. Yeah, or matric, yeah.
Well, I reckon I genuinely think I'd have to go back to primary school maths to pass a maths test.
I can't do algebra.
No chance.
Any
No.
time.
Never did. I didn't know what sine or cosine was.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, that makes all of us.
That's right.
Big tick for those maths classes. Thank you, Steve. Mark in Summertown is also part of Feedback Friday. Morning to you, Mark.
How are you both boys?
Good, thanks, Mark. How's life up in Summertown?
It's still a bit brisk in the mornings, but the foliage is thick as thick. So we're still getting rain. And so, the vines are doing all the right things surrounding us and the orchards as well. So come on up for a visit if you want to sample some of the good stuff.
Have you ever had the spicy sausage roll at the Uradel Bakery?
Oh, yeah, that takes... you've got to be sitting down to tackle that.
Oh, it's good. I love it. I drove up a couple of weeks ago and got one.
None of these are your Feedback Friday
that's
questions,
not a question.
Mark.
That's
This is just David's just
interrupting.
He's just gone off script.
Sorry, I'll shut up now.
52 days until Christmas, Mark. Have you started your shopping yet?
I've started thinking about shopping. And that's about as close as I get. I tend to go really well planned on my car trips so that I can go by stealth in the last week and just swoop. I don't like standing in lines and standing in shops. I like to just go in under the cover of darkness and do it all as quickly as possible. I set a time lock and then see how I go.
I like that strategy. When Port and the Crows leave the Sandful in a year's time, do you think the league should add more teams to the comp?
I think even number is what's needed just to get the math right so that you don't get all these silly bye rounds.
Yeah.
My lad's actually involved in the STIRT program. That should get me points this morning. But
we have a winner.
Sadly, he wasn't a winner. He broke his foot in the first 4 minutes of the first game this year, so he didn't put the threads on for the under-16s this year. But hold that spot for him next year. He should be doing some great things. But I think 8. I just think the maths is going to work better with 8. If you try to pull 2 extra sides in, they're going to be half cooked and they're going to flounder at the bottom, and we're going to kind of get our own little local version of North Melbourne, which I don't think will be good for the Sandful.
No.
What if we made North Melbourne the extra team?
That's an idea.
That could work. Mark, we spoke with a Victorian man yesterday who's made a QR code to go on a gravestone so you get more information about the person who's passed away. Would you like a QR code on your gravestone?
I think I would. That started percolating a few ideas of what sort of surprises you could have for people that can no longer offend you back. There'd be a lot of people taking advantage of that, and it'd be entertaining actually going around cemeteries and just flashing on people's QRs and just sort of see what sort of dirt comes up. The dirt's been put on them.
Deliver a couple of home truths from beyond the grave.
Right.
I don't mind that idea, Mark.
Get it all off your chest in the afterlife.
And just lastly, Mark, this time next year, the US will be voting for a president. Do you think Donald Trump will win?
I think they're doing their level best to try to keep him out of the running with all these court appearances. At the same time, I wonder if he's astute enough to have orchestrated the whole thing behind the scenes so that he gets publicity to get him over the line.
100%. You said the other day, I'm winning this. I'm winning the presidency back one indictment at a time.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's playing out that way, I think.
Great stuff,
Thank
Mark.
you, Mark. Who wins the $100 Samtas seafood voucher?
Look, they're all good. Steve, Mark. I reckon we'll give it to Darren. Let's give it to Darren Rosewater.
He was first caller through.
Yep.
He was fastest out of the blocks.
Yep.
Fair
They're all
enough.
good, though.
All right.
Darren, you are the lucky winner of the excellent Sam Tass fish tray.
We're going to be awarding a meat tray before 9 o'clock. Behind closed doors is next to work as well. Let's check traffic thanks to Keezer. Are you tired of back pain? Try Keezer, KIESER.com.au.
A crash at Fitzroy on Prospect Road near Fitzroy Terrace. Breakdown at Parkside Glen Osmond Road near Green Hill Road. Also at Dry Creek on the Salisbury Highway near the Wingfield interchange. Road plates are in use at Medindie due to a loose pit lid on Rope Terrace near Medindie Road. And just be sure to check your speed. Quick Road, Mitchell Park. Harris Scarf sale is on now. Friends, enjoy 40 to 60% off all full price kitchenware. Exclusions apply. Harris Scarf, great brands, great prices. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
This weekend at Coles, earn double barbecue credits towards my free Curtis Stone barbecue collection. Spend $20 in one transaction and scan your flybys to earn 2 barbecue credits this weekend.
Offer ends November 5th. In-store only. Exclusions and T's and C's apply. Join us for a week of birthday celebrations at 40 Winks. Head in-store and save 50% off mattresses and 30% off furniture. Exclusions and T's and C's apply. Hurry, our birthday sale ends this Sunday. 40 Winks. Serious about sleep.
Remember when milk came in bottles? I mean real glass bottles. It somehow tasted better and it was better for the planet. That's why the Flurio Milk Company have partnered with the Udder Way to bring you milk in a glass bottle. The reduction in single-use plastic bottles will be phenomenal. In the millions. Join the fight to reduce plastic and look for milk refill stations in your supermarket. Thanks to Flurio Milk Company and the Udder Way. Visit fluriomilkco.com.au for more.
Now, if you haven't secured somewhere to soak up the Melbourne Cup festivities this coming Tuesday, book yourself into 11 Restaurant and Piazza.
Surrounded by greenery and city lights, 11 offers a cosmopolitan experience inspired by the rooftops of New York and the laneways of Paris. The perfect place to enjoy a relaxing lunch followed by drinks in the city sun. There are limited tickets remaining, but the team at 11 have given us 3 double passes to give away this week. One of those we're going to be giving away in just a moment.
So keep listening for your chance to win some of the hottest tickets in town this Melbourne Cup. And if you haven't booked your table yet, there's still places available, but you've got to be quick. Jump online at 11adl.com.au today.
Enjoy 4 courses and a 3-hour premium beverage package, including Bollinger Champagne, big screens and DJs. Don't wait, book now at 11adl.com.au.
Now at Harvey Norman, hot deals on electrical appliances plus bonus gift cards. Yes, get 10% of your purchase price in Harvey Norman gift cards when you spend $250 or more on selected electrical appliances. 10% in gift cards on selected small appliances, vacuums and coffee machines. 10% in gift cards on a huge range of fridges, laundry, aircon and cooking appliances. And 10% in gift cards on the latest TVs and soundbars. Hurry, this huge offer ends Sunday. 10% in gift cards now at Harvey Norman. Terms, conditions and exclusions apply. See store for details.
Get the garden you want at Garden Grove. Start with Instant Lawn. Garden Grove are the instant lawn experts with a big range of well-priced, top-quality instant lawns for instant laying now. So for the lawn you want, see Garden Grove, Golden Grove Road, Golden Grove. Open 7 days. Phone 8251 1111 for delivery to your area.
Garden Grove, that's the garden. Garden Grove, that's the garden. Garden Grove, a garden that I want.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Jobs, apprenticeships, traineeships and careers. Maxima can help. Learn more today at maxima.com.au.
We're just talking about the Melbourne Cup lunch at 11. You can still book a table, 11adl.com.au, or you can tell us the horse that won the Melbourne Cup in a year that we're about to spin up on the random wheel. Let's have a quick look here. 82230055 is the number. The year is 2006. 2006. Tell us the horse that won the Melbourne Cup in 2006. 82230055 is the number. Let's go behind closed doors. Thanks to Aussie Fast Transport Solutions, Interstate Freight, Distribution Warehousing, and local Adelaide Couriers. Call Aussie Fast 13 13 64.
And when we get behind closed...
Lucy's come in.
I would like to speak to Nova Entertainment and see what we can make happen if I produce a rap song.
Yeah. Well, if you produce a rap song, I promise you will play it.
I can imagine a John Blake sketch of a Lucy Loken rap song with your crisp vowels.
Let's make it interesting.
Your
Lakey,
elocution.
I challenge you to turn me into a rap. Go on.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Lucy, I'm a look and I'm incredibly well spoken. I'm awake with the owls when I pluck my eyebrows. Thinner than a toothpick and never like a dipstick and have well-rounded vowels. A-E-I-O-U. Guess who? I'm Lucy, I'm a look and look at me, I'm not a token. An executive producer, people usually call me Lucid. Well, the next line's inappropriate. I hope we can all just cope with it. I'm fluent speaking French because I'm a clever little wench. There I said it, what about it? Go and have a whinge about it. Had to do it because I knew it then and had to rhyme with French. Lucy, I'm a look and got my eyes wide open. Did you like my pitch? Went off without a hitch. The boys have got a twitch. Their fingers on the switch. They think they hear it coming glitch. Lucy Logan is a full-blown executive producer of The Breakfast Show.
Straight out of Claire. Straight out of Claire. Crazy producer named Lucy Loken.
Oh, that was superb.
From this gang called FIVEAA with Attitude, etc.
Well
there
done.
We go. That was brilliant.
John Blake. Tony in Campbelltown has called in. Tony, good morning. Do you know which horse won the Melbourne Cup in 2006?
Well, I certainly do. That winner was Delta Blue.
Certainly was. And you are a winner too, Tony. You're off to the Melbourne Cup lunch at 11. That is going to be superb. Experience Melbourne Cup at 11 Restaurant and Piazza. It's not too late to book your table. Visit 11adl.com.au and secure your spot today.
Do you like hip-hop? You got a favourite hip-hop artist?
Oh, I love hip-hop. Yeah.
I like it.
I don't know, be some Tupac or Eminem, possibly.
Eminem's pretty good.
Eminem's
Public Enemy.
Great,
I love Public Enemy.
Hilltop
Hoods go all right.
Bit of Biggie, I don't mind. Depends. I know
Yeah,
you don't
no.
meant to say East Coast, West Coast. It's a bit sort of, it's not the thing you meant to do.
What about English hip-hop? Have you ever heard of Roots Maneuver?
I'm not familiar with Roots Maneuver.
He's excellent, Roots Maneuver.
There's a guy...
One hook, one quest, witness the
There's a guy I
fitness.
can't think of that I actually do like. He's an English hip-hop artist, but let's not talk about that for now because we're running out of time. We have to look at the fuel situation, though, thanks to the RAA app you can download for free today. $2.15 is sort of the average range you'll find it at. Get it cheap at the ex-convenience Main North Road, $1.79.9. The United Henley Beach Road, Henley Beach, $1.99.9. If you have a Costco membership, you can grab it for $1.77.7. The cheapest diesel, the ex-convenience Main North Road, Jeps Cross, $1.99.5. We have to give away a meat tray.
Whew. Where do we start? So many great calls. I love the way our show goes off in mad and unpredictable directions. I loved how it became a call-in service just before 7 o'clock in a very Adelaide way for people who had no connection whatsoever. Callers, firstly Ray in North Haven, telling her story about how she worked at Johnny's in 1959 in the bra and corset department, prompting Jane from Northfield to ring saying that her auntie Gladys worked there too.
Yeah.
Look, we're going to give the meat tray to Ray from North Haven for kicking it all off with her wonderful story. 11 appearances in the pageant. A very honourable mention, of course, to Des from Paradise.
Oh, I think we can do better than honourable mention. Let's give Des a $100 food and drink voucher to the Lucky Dumpling Market that's on through this weekend. This is the end of the Lucky Dumpling Market. But Des, you got $100 to spend there. Visit luckydumplingmarket.com.
Good on you, Des. And Ray gets the meat tray.
Ray gets the meat tray thanks to Thomas Farms. They've got a try their store at Nord Mall at the Parade, or their other stores, Castle Plaza, Colonnades, Cavern, or West Lakes. Thomas Farms, always good.
We are pretty much out of time.
We're pretty much out of time, and you're pretty much out of time to donate to Grant Stevens' Movember campaign, which is kicked off with modest returns, it must be said. On the face, I'm sure the money's coming in. Movember.com.au, search Grant Stevens. Highest donation before 9 o'clock gets to have an entire behind-the-scenes look at parts of Sapole that most people never get to see.
That's right. The Starries, the Dog Squad.
Oh, he's extended it out, we've just heard.
Oh,
he's
really?
extending it out all day. So
All
you
day.
don't have to rush.
Fantastic.
When you get a moment, donate to a great cause. Men's health, both physical and mental, is what they're supporting with Movember. Have a great weekend.
And we'll see, where's the Pope? The Governor High Marsh Hotel tonight.
Say hi to David. See you Monday.
Heard the phrase milk is milk? Not true. When you choose Pura, you choose Aussie-owned, locally made milk. We proudly